Till news time, 12 o'clock. This is Midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos today. KSL's top story this hour. Firefighters in Utah County are working to contain a new wildfire near a popular recreation spot, and evacuations are now underway. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live in American Fork. What's the latest, Eric?
Britt, this is now being called by authorities as the Mill Canyon Fire, burning in the timber just east of Tibble Fork Reservoir in American Fork Canyon. At last check, the fire was about a quarter acre, but Forest Service officials say it's burning in thick forest and tough terrain. Because of its location, officials tell us they can't use fire engines and have to hike in or rely on airdrops to fight the flames. Evacuations have been ordered for the Granite Flat Campground, the Tibble Fork Summer Home area, and the reservoir itself. The entire area, including trails and roads, is now closed off for safety. A listener also hiking nearby sent us a video showing smoke rising through dense trees. It gives you a sense of how tucked away this fire is. The cause is still under investigation, and we'll keep tracking updates as they come in. Live in American Fork Canyon, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
People camping in parts of American Fork Canyon got an unexpected wake-up call this morning because of that fire. KSL TV's Alex Cabrera was one of those campers.
Started hearing this buzzing sound, some sirens, and I just thought it was another camper just, waking up too early, making too much noise. But then you heard over the air horn, over the siren, a police officer saying, "Everybody, you need to evacuate. There's a wildfire. You need to go right now." So you just throw everything you can into your car and you get out of there.
Alex tells Utah's Morning News he couldn't see any flames from his location, but there was a lot of smoke and a lot of firefighters gathering at the reservoir parking lot. Fire crews responded to a fire close to Sundance this morning. The Utah County Sheriff's Office says it was started accidentally by a construction crew. It has since been put out. Red flag warnings are in place for almost the entire state as fire danger continues to increase. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Strong winds, high temperatures, and low humidity are a dangerous combination. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says those winds have the potential to pick up any small spark.
The forecast calls for winds to remain elevated in southern and central Utah. We're talking about daily afternoon gusts to at least 30 every day, with some days highlighted 40 to 45.
Matt says single-digit humidity sucks the moisture out of grass and wood, making them drier and easier to burn. Stage 2 fire restrictions are still in place, meaning no open flames are allowed outside. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
We'll continue to have fire updates on our social media accounts and on KSLNewsRadio.com. For all the latest, you can head to the Utah Fire Watch tab at the top left corner of the homepage. A man has been arrested after police say he started a brush fire in Sand Hollow State Park over the weekend. The fire was started on Saturday around 3:30 p.m. and burned about 3.5 acres before crews were able to put it out. An investigator on the scene noticed a man with a burned ATV near the site who appeared to be driving it under the influence. The 32-year-old was arrested under suspicion of abandoning a fire that caused property damage and a DUI. KSL's top national stories. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he'll try to remove Democratic lawmakers from office Monday if they don't return to the state. Dozens of them left the state in an attempt to stop the vote on a new congressional map that would create up to 5 new GOP seats. ABC's Catherine Falders explains.
Unless there's a quorum of 2/3 of the members in attendance, the state house can't hold any votes. So that's why the Texas Democrats packed their bags and left the state. So these new congressional maps that were set to be voted on today would give Republicans up to 5 new seats in Congress. But again, they can't go into effect until they're approved by the state legislature.
The session was supposed to be held at 3 p.m. today. 1 month after the devastating Independence Day flash flood, people in the Texas Hill Country are moving ahead with the massive job of cleanup and recovery.
One early estimate puts total losses from the flooding at between $18 and $22 billion. Then there are the indirect costs. Kerr County Sheriff Larry Letha is seeking funding to hire a new detective.
We've already seen a slight increase in some crime, and we actually got our first fraud case. We're going to be working with the Attorney General's office.
In some remote communities alongside the Guadalupe River, the cleanup has barely started 1 month after the flood. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The body of a man who went missing in Willard Bay has been found, and he wasn't wearing a life vest.
We know this man was from Davis County. DNR Division of Law Enforcement Sergeant Trent Curry says the man had been on an inflatable raft with a 4-year-old Friday afternoon.
My understanding is that he got hit by a gust of wind and ended up falling off from that. I believe there was some waves involved with that as well.
The child was also knocked from the raft, but others were able to save the child. The man's body was found around 11 p.m. that night. He had not been wearing a life jacket at the time. Officials say the best safety tip they can give is to wear a life jacket whenever you're on the water. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Black Ridge Reservoir is closed while the city of Harriman waits for tests to see if the algae in the lake is harmful. Water in Black Ridge comes from Utah Lake, which is experiencing harmful levels of algal blooms right now.
If it comes in contact with your skin, you can get a little bit of a rash. If you ingest it, you can get a little bit of an upset stomach.
Utah Lake authorities Kelly Cannon O'Day tells KSL TV the algae can be fatal for dogs, so it's important to keep pets out of the water. First look traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
We do have fire crews on the scene battling a blaze in between north and southbound I-15. This is after 33rd South. They're going to be taking up the left lane of traffic on the northbound side of the freeway. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:06.
One 877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Fire crews are battling tough terrain in American Fork Canyon to fight a fire near Tibble Creek Reservoir. Evacuations are in place for some of the campgrounds there. KSL News Time, 12:07. A man has died while trying to break a speed record at the Bonneville Salt Flats over the weekend. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has the details.
Officials say 60-year-old Chris Roski was attempting a speed record when he lost control of his vehicle at the 2.5-mile mark. We're told medical professionals treated him at the scene, but he passed away from his injuries. We've learned on social media Roski was the driver of the latest version of the Speed Demon, which advertises as the fastest piston engine wheel-driven car in the world. The Speed Demon team posted after the crash saying they are devastated.
This crash is under investigation. Speed Week is expected to continue as scheduled at the Salt Flats today. Utah Highway Patrol troopers stopped a driver they say was going nearly double the speed limit on I-15 this weekend. The arresting documents say the driver passed a trooper going 136 miles an hour in a 70-mile zone around 2:30 Sunday morning. Police say he was driving an Audi S6 with no license plate. They arrested that driver. A major construction project in Saratoga Springs is wrapping up just ahead of the school year.
The city says Mountain View Corridor had to be completely ripped up to add a 5-lane roadway from Pioneer Crossing to the south connection at Pony Express Parkway. After more than a month of partial closures, that work is nearly complete.
Our traffic does double or more once school is in. So we're excited that we're going to meet that target that we were hoping to have it open and available for when that additional traffic enters the road.
Annalisa Harrison, a spokesperson for Saratoga Springs, says crews will be working on the sidewalk between Dallas Ridge Boulevard to Evans Lane a bit longer. But other than that, parents will not have to worry about crazy backups on their way to school. Claire Scott, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 12:09. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
Thank you, Britt. We do have fire crews blocking a left lane of traffic as they try to work on extinguishing a roadside fire. And this fire is in the grassy median in between north and southbound I-15. But it's the northbound left lanes blocked with crews on the scene. This is after 33rd South and approaching 2100 South, right at the I-80-201 junction, what we'll sometimes call the Spaghetti Bowl. So right in the heart of the valley, and we are starting to see a little bit of traffic building and backing up on northbound I-15. But other than that, the rest of your valley freeways are seeing a nice and quiet drive. Step back in time at the Utah Renaissance Fair, August 22nd and 23rd. Enjoy exotic foods, performers, and artisan treasures. Get your tickets now at utahrenfair.org. Let the adventure begin. Ricky Neese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A toasty 97 today with some smoke out there, breezy winds out of the south, elevating fire danger to the point of a red flag warning across most of Utah. Overnight, 66. Tomorrow, smoky, sunshine, and 94. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 91 degrees in Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, Utah is reporting $32 million in losses to construction fraud over the last 3 years. So what is the state doing about it? We'll talk to the Department of Commerce. That's coming up next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
How many times have you said, I've tried to lose weight, I just can't lose weight, I've tried all sorts of diets? If that's you, because that was me, then you need to hear about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Because with this great program, this great all-natural program, I have lost more than 40 pounds, 25 pounds of it in the first 60 days. Many people lose up to a pound per day. This program uses a simple combination of foods to help you lose that stored fat. And that means there are no side effects from things like medications or surgery or injections, just a simple combination of foods. They also have a great app that keeps you accountable and gives you daily inspiration, great ideas, and also some great recipes so you don't get bored with the food you eat. Admit it, it would be great to lose up to a pound per day. Find out how you can save $200 now at slcfatloss.com or call them 801-450-1882, slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country. When you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
Connect with a local divorce attorney today. Text Office 44 to 32 32 32. Office 44 to 32 32 32. CordellCordell.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let me ask you a question. You have a best friend? How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency? Someone on the other line said they kidnapped my son, and they're demanding $500,000.
On September 12th, 1995, 12-year-old McKay Everett disappeared from his home in Conroe, Texas. It was a crime that shocked the community because the suspect was so unlikely, so unexpected.
Former high-ranking police official, he'd run for sheriff at one point.
Law enforcement personnel were pretty much split down the middle over whether or not he actually did this.
And to this day, McKay's mother, Paulette, still feels that justice was never truly served.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
fire crews have evacuated the Tibble Fork Reservoir area, and officials say it's too remote for fire engines, so crews are hiking in and relying on airdrops to fight the flames. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, another red flag warning is in effect today as high temperatures and winds amplify today's fire danger. Third, traffic and weather together.
And the fire danger continues. We do have fire crews blocking a left lane northbound I-15 with a roadside fire that began in the grassy median between north and southbound directions of the freeway. This is as you're approaching 2100 South. Ricky Neeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Hot and breezy today, high fire danger. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 91 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Texas governor has condemned state Democrats leaving the state, breaking a quorum of the special session. Governor Greg Abbott setting a deadline in 2 hours for them to return as Republicans are poised to approve a newly redrawn congressional map, giving the GOP 5 more seats ahead of the midterm elections. Democrats call that gerrymandering. ABC's Catherine Falders has more on the impact of today.
Unless there's a quorum of 2/3 of the members in attendance, the state House can't hold any votes. So that's why the Texas Democrats packed their bags and left the state. So these new congressional maps that were set to be voted on today would give Republicans up to 5 new seats in Congress. But again, they can't go into effect until they're approved by the state legislature.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul met with 6 Texas Democrats in Albany today and says New York will also redraw its congressional maps. California's governor considering a similar plan. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is pushing for a military solution now to free the remaining hostages in Gaza. President Trump's special envoy met with hostage families over the weekend. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Tel Aviv.
What he told them was, we are very, very close to a solution to end this war. What does that mean? Well, he says that Hamas has said that they are prepared to demilitarize, which is frankly mystifying because publicly, at least, that's not what they're saying. He also says that there's a plan to bring all hostages home at once. Again, mystifying because they're struggling to bring even small groups home. An Israeli official also telling ABC News that Prime Minister Netanyahu is pushing to expand the military operation to release the hostages through a military solution.
In Los Angeles, 2 people were killed, 6 others injured after a mass shooting at an unofficial after-party for a music festival. LAPD say officers shut down the party at the warehouse. A few hours later, shots rang out. Officers say that the motive for the shooting is still not clear. You're listening to ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. The Utah Department of Commerce is taking aggressive action against construction fraud. They're reporting that it's led to $32 million in losses over the last 3 years. Joining me now live is Margaret Woolley-Bussey, the Executive Director of the Department of Commerce. Margaret, are you there?
I am. Thanks so much, Britt.
And what does construction fraud mean?
What we're referring to with construction fraud is something that probably some people listening here have experienced, which is you hire a contractor to do a job for you, and that contractor flakes out, walks away from the job after you've paid him or her money.
What are some of the most common ways that fraud is occurring?
Well, it's really just that. I would say, though, that there's sort of a spectrum of actors. There's some folks that are, contractors that are coming in, not intending to commit fraud, but they sort of overbook themselves. They get overwhelmed. They're using money to sort of pay money from Peter to pay Paul, as we say. And then there's others that are really as part of their business model to come in, give an estimate, get money from you up front, and then simply never show up for the job. And it's one of the areas that we see in fraud in the state that is really high dollars. People are losing tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in these kinds of fraudulent activities.
And so what are some of the actions that the Utah Department of Commerce can take to try to stop this?
Well, I'll tell you what we are doing now. So right now we already have our Division of Professional Licensing, or DOPL, some people know it as. They are already taking action against contractors' licenses if this happens. Our Division of Consumer Protection can also take regulatory action against some of these folks. But what we've seen is that we need to take a more aggressive stance and really put these folks, these would-be fraudsters, on notice that we are working very proactively in 3 different areas. One is on policy in terms of do I need to change our statutes to make them more effective? Another is in enforcement. And in enforcement, we think we need to do a much better job in getting prosecutors, criminal prosecutors, to take these cases seriously, and so that it's not just a regulatory penalty. We actually work with the legislature to get funding for a criminal prosecutor on construction fraud that's now housed within the AG's office. And finally, in outreach and education, we've just recently posted online a sample construction contract that consumers can go and use to be able to make sure that they are checking all the boxes. So we think we have work to do on all of these fronts, and we're excited to get going to really be able to stop these folks in their tracks.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. I think it's something that all of us can be probably a little bit more vigilant about and just keep our eyes open for things that seem suspicious. So thank you, Margaret, for coming on live to talk with us. I've been talking with Margaret Woolley-Bussey, the Executive Director of the Department of Commerce for the KSL In Depth. KSL News Time, 12:20. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
The delays are easing, although fire crews are still on the scene working this roadside fire northbound I-15. The left lane is blocked as you're approaching 2100 South. The rest of your Salt Lake County freeways are clear. We have a little bit of busy and slow traffic through the work zone again today. This is southbound I-15 in Davis County near Burton Lane as you go from Kaysville into Farmington. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. Mostly sunny skies today. 97, breezy and smoky. Red flag warning. 94 tomorrow. Slightly cooler, sunshine and a little smoky. 98 on Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies. It's still hot at 98 on Thursday. Mostly clear. I've got 93 with sunshine on Friday. How about Saturday, though? 89 degrees. And then it's 92 on Sunday with mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 91 degrees and cloudy and windy in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I am not a rich woman, but I feel like a rich woman every time I go in my closet. The best, hands down, present I've ever received was my husband secretly redid my closet with Closets by Design. So now when I go in there aren't all these shoes just junked on the floor. They're neatly sitting on their shelves. And my necklaces are hanging on their individual hooks, and earrings are in their little squares in this soft drawer that pulls out. It's just gorgeous. In fact, he saw how much I loved it. He had Closets by Design redo the garage. So now all the stuff, the tools, the toys, the junk is all in cabinets. When you open our garage door, you see cars. That's it. It's amazing. The things that Closets by Design can do, and it's going to save you money right now because you get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off with 18-month financing. You can do so much with your closet, much more than you realize, with this wonderful Utah company, Closets by Design. Find out more at 1-800-BY-DESIGN or closetsbydesign.com.
3 days only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Save thousands on hot tubs and swim spas. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Major manufacturers liquidation of new 2025 spas, discounted up to 40 to 80%. We have spas to fit any backyard or budget. Free professional delivery, instant on-site financing. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Transform your backyard with a swim spa for the fraction of the price of a pool. The easiest way to exercise or relax in your backyard. Just fill and chill. Shockingly low monthly payments. Don't miss this opportunity to build the backyard of your dreams. See the latest models in person. 3 days only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Learn more online at hottubandSwimSpaSale.com. HottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Right now at S&S Roofing, get $1,000 off any roof replacement. Plus, you'll get their incredible 50-year worry-free warranty. Dial pound 250 and then say the keyword S&S Roofing for a free bid.
KSL News Time 12:24. Economic uncertainty could be driving many consumer decisions in the second half of 2025. More from ABC's Sherry Preston.
According to a new survey from U.S. News and World Report, 85% of Americans are concerned about higher prices on back-to-school items. Consumers are worried about higher costs, caused in part by the Trump administration's recent tariffs. The Wall Street Journal reporting it's leading people to buy in bulk, clip coupons, and seek out generic items.
Watching Utah's money, more than 3,000 Boeing employees are on strike. The fighter jet factory workers turned down the 20% wage increase offer, saying they deserve more for their dedication to the critical role they play in the country's defense. Meta is hoping to find some outside partners willing to help fund infrastructure that will ultimately further advance AI. The new data center needs $2 billion. Anyone looking for something to do today? On one of the summer's last Mondays, you're in luck. Today, entrance to any national park that typically requires an entrance pass is free, because on this day in 2020, the Great American Outdoors Act was signed. Your money at this moment, taking a look at the markets, things are in the green. The Dow gaining 500 points, S&P up 82 points, the Nasdaq gaining 380 points. Wegovy and Ozempic are now being prescribed for adolescents over 12 years old. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports.
The so-called GLP-1 drugs are being used to reduce childhood obesity. Dr. Ellie Brownstein, president-elect of the Utah chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics, says the drugs are being considered because the obesity problem in kids is growing.
Lifetime complications of obesity leading to liver disease, some kids needing liver transplants, diabetes from a young age that can wreak havoc.
The weight loss drug use in kids surged after the AAP recommendation came out in 2023, but Dr. Brownstein says it's unknown if the kids will have to continue using the GLPs forever. Physicians also advocate for healthier diets and exercise. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
You've lived through the pain long enough. The missed meals, covered smiles, the moments you've avoided because of your teeth. If you're living with missing or broken teeth or struggling with dentures, take your life back. Stubbs Dental Implant Center has helped thousands reclaim their health, confidence, and joy with permanent dental implants. What do Stubbs Dental patients say?
I'm no longer in pain, and I can finally be myself again after getting dental implants. I just wish I would have gone to Stubbs Dental sooner.
I was at a denture for 10 years before I got dental implants. My life has completely changed thanks to Stubbs Dental.
You know, I hated looking at myself in the mirror. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been life-changing.
As a 3-time Best of State winner with over 2,500 5-star Google reviews, Stubbs Dental doesn't just fix teeth, they change lives. Visit StubbsDental.com today to reserve your free consultation. A $350 value, completely free. StubbsDental.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General, at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
Behind the curtain of Utah and Washington politics.
It seems like the federal government is now saying to the states, you have much more control of your destiny.
And expanded inside sources.
And so our legislature is trying to figure out what their boundaries are.
Well, even like FEMA, right?
Yes.
Wildfire disasters.
The all-new Inside Sources.
If we have to pay for it all of ourselves, can we afford that as a state?
Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson, now on 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 12:29. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's MyStyle checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
Looks like they are wrapping up this earlier roadside fire, and fire crews are going to be opening up that northbound left lane of traffic on I-15. This grass fire was in between both directions of the freeway. prior to 2100 South going northbound I-15 right in the heart of the valley caused only a little bit of backup, no major delays, and traffic is moving through the area just fine once again. We do have the road still closed to traffic. That's SR 144 at the mouth of American Fork Canyon as fire crews are still at the scene working on that wildfire. So American Fork Canyon, you can't get up into that area. And then for the rest of your Salt Lake County freeways, we're all clear. A little bit of busy and slow traffic southbound I-15 in Davis County due to construction by Burton Lane as you go from Kaysville into Farmington. Don't miss the Rocky Mountain Gun Show at Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy, August 9th and 10th. Get 500 rounds of 9mm ammo for just $85. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Right now it's 91 degrees, partly sunny and breezy.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time, 12:30. KSL's top story this hour. We have an update to a story we first told you last week. Utah is now second in the nation for kindergarten vaccine exemptions, just in time for a new school year. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has the story.
That's according to new data released by the CDC, which shows the only state with a higher vaccine exemption rate than Utah is Idaho.
It's a concern for us.
Rich Lakin is the immunization director for the Utah Department of Health and Human Services. He says when people request a vaccine exemption, they have the option of saying why. The top 3 responses they're getting are:
they feel like vaccines are unsafe. They feel that the disease don't exist anymore, and so they don't get vaccinated. They don't want to run the risk of a vaccine as compared to the disease.
And with school starting this month, Lakin says measles cases could rise dramatically in areas of the state where there are higher numbers of vaccine exemptions. He's encouraging parents who are on the fence about vaccinating their kids to do so, saying their effects are minimal compared to getting measles or whatever they're protecting against.
Very little harm comes from vaccines. I'm not saying that any harm doesn't come from them, but the harm from getting the disease itself is a lot more dramatic.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Meanwhile, we're hearing about a rise in whooping cough, also called pertussis, in southern Utah. The Southwest Utah Public Health Department said last week they've had 30 reported cases in Washington County and 2 in Iron County. 1 child has been hospitalized. Whooping cough is a highly contagious respiratory disease that starts like a cold and causes coughing fits that can last up to 10 weeks. Infants under a year old are at high risk of experiencing complications. They recommend people get vaccinated against the disease because even if you get sick, symptoms will be milder. KSL's top national stories. President Trump is defending his decision to fire the top official in charge of the jobs report, claiming she doctored the numbers. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
President Trump pledging to announce a new head for the Bureau of Labor Statistics after he fired Commissioner Erica McIntarfer on Friday, claiming without evidence that the latest jobs numbers were manipulated to make him look bad.
We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous.
But he has yet to provide any concrete evidence of that. The president's top economic advisors adamant Trump isn't shooting the messenger in the wake of the poor jobs report. But they say he does want his own appointee in place.
President Trump said yesterday he hopes to hire her replacement in the next 3 or 4 days. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. Unable to make any notable progress in a ceasefire agreement with Hamas, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week is pushing for a military solution to free the around 20 remaining hostages believed to be held in Gaza.
There's really nothing to indicate that there's been any significant progress towards a ceasefire agreement, so it seems like it's at a standstill. In fact, Israeli officials say that Hamas really doesn't want to make a deal on a ceasefire nor secure the release of the hostages. And it's the reason Prime Minister Netanyahu has doubled down on plans for a further military solution to the situation.
ABC's Marcus Moore reporting. Federal officials are searching through the woods in Montana for a suspect who police say killed 4 people in a shooting last Friday. ABC's Trevor Alt reporting.
Hundreds of federal and local officials converging on the mountains in search of Army veteran Michael Paul Brown, who they say is armed and extremely dangerous. Authorities say 45-year-old Brown lives next door to the Owl Bar in the small town of Anaconda. They say Friday morning around 10:30, he walked in and shot 3 patrons and a bartender.
Officials say Brown is known to local law enforcement with a criminal record, and his family says he struggled to get help for mental health problems. The FBI field office in Salt Lake City is assisting with the manhunt. A Saratoga Springs man was arrested, accused of chasing and shooting at another car during a road rage confrontation in Grantsville. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Police really haven't said yet how the road rage started, but they did write in the probable cause statement that when Mark McGahey was chasing the victim's car, he pulled alongside the victims, tried to get the driver and passenger to pull over, but when they didn't, police say he fired a shot. He then drove back behind the victim's car, fired up to 8 shots in total. This chase was happening through the streets of Grantsville City. No one was hit by the gunfire, but police did eventually catch up to the suspect, and he was booked in jail for all kinds of suggested charges, including attempted murder. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Residents who live in Emigration Canyon should expect delays up to 30 minutes as crews begin a paving project scheduled for the next 2 weeks. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
The construction is scheduled from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily through August 15th. A press release from the Greater Salt Lake Municipal Services District states 1 lane will be closed during paving and access to residential driveways will be restricted while the asphalt cures. Visitors are highly discouraged from driving through the canyon during the paving project.
Emigration Canyon is also closed to all bicyclists until August 15th. First look traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
All lanes now open once again, northbound I-15 approaching 2100 South, where we earlier had fire crews working a roadside fire. We're seeing good speeds on both sides of the freeway. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:36.
Hey folks, it's Jay Broadbent here with Alpine Home Medical, celebrating 28 years of keeping Utah and Idaho comfortable and at home. Back in '97, I started with a truck, a dream, and a lot more hair. Today, we've got 11 stores from Idaho Falls to St. George. From the moment you step into our clean, welcoming showrooms, you'll feel the Alpine difference. Our team will be there to listen and guide you to the best solutions for your needs. We believe that the right equipment can transform lives. We're honored to be a part of your healthcare journey and to help you live the life you deserve. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? It's natural to think of this as being your money, right? But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And you could be paying a lot more in taxes on these accounts than you know. A lot more. Learn the strategies that can help you reduce or eliminate your taxes in retirement. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL News Radio 1027.
Health officials in southern Utah are warning people about a rise in whooping cough cases. As of last week, 32 cases were reported and 1 child has been hospitalized. KSL News Time, 12:38. Rising costs, land use restrictions, and wages are making some states more accessible than others for people trying to afford a house. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
South and North Carolina top the list of states people are moving to, according to data from relocation company Move Buddha. Coming in third is Idaho, with 2 of its suburbs, Caldwell and Eagle, included in the top 5 most popular cities to move to. Move Buddha says we're still feeling the aftershocks of COVID, where movers want affordability and access to nature. So instead of moving to large cities, they're looking for smaller towns or suburban areas. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Many teachers have already been spending time in their classrooms preparing for the new school year. KSL TV attended a teacher conference over the weekend where Bree Wright and other teachers talked about their biggest concerns.
They got some tough behaviors. They don't know how to socialize with each other. They don't know how to act in the classroom. It's their first time at school.
Other issues discussed included attendance, homework completion, and parent engagement. Over the next several days, Inside Sources will be taking a look at back-to-school topics in the 10 o'clock hour. Today, they tackled back-to-school costs. Tomorrow, they'll look at the new rules for cell phones in schools and what's changed and what you and your kids need to know before day one. KSL News Time, 12:39. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
Crews have wrapped up a crash at 1800 South and Main Street. Really didn't cause too much of a problem, but you will see some busier traffic at the intersection north and southbound on Main at 1700 South, a block north of that. If you're headed northbound on I-215's westbound, a little bit of busy traffic. And this is due to new road work that began last week, where we do have a right lane restricted between the 201 junction up to the North Temple area. And slowdowns again due to road work for Davis County drivers. This is southbound I-15 going from Kaysville to Lagoon. This is pretty close to Burton Lane, where speeds really start to slow down. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Thanks to a low-pressure system that's worked into Oregon, we'll see wind out of the south today. Breezy at times, gusting to 30 in some places. Mostly sunny skies and hot, 97 with a little bit of smoke. 66 overnight, hazy with mostly clear skies. Tomorrow high, 94, sunshine, up to 98 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 91 degrees in Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, smoke in the air again today. We'll talk to the National Weather Service about the wind and how it's carrying that toxic air here from wildfires. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
No one likes to be upsold, but that's what you're going to find from a lot of HVAC companies because they are no longer family-owned. So I want to tell you about a local company that is family-owned where you are going to get the best information that you need when you have a problem with your heating, your air conditioning, your plumbing, or any of your electrical needs. And that is At Your Service Pros. When the air conditioning went out in my house, Jared from At Your Service Pros came out promptly. He gave me all the information I need. He gave me a great estimate. And then he told me about a bunch of rebates that are going to save me thousands of dollars. These are rebates that expire at the end of the year. At Your Service Pros is so committed to giving you good information that they also have a YouTube channel right now. It is called Healthy Water and Air. And when you go there and you watch their AC giveaway video, you are entered for a chance to win an air conditioner. All you need to do is subscribe, and you can comment, or you can even just say hi to double your chances of winning. Don't forget the name, At Your Service Pros.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want you to know that it's the little things that count. Any remodeler can say they treat customers right when it comes to siding, gutters, windows, and exteriors. It's hard to know for sure. If a contractor uses cheap generic nails instead of super grippy ridge shaft nails for your siding, would you even know? If they use cheap $4 caulk to install your new windows instead of paying $9 a tube for the good stuff, could you tell by looking? It all comes down to the details and trust. At RGS Exteriors, we only do things one way, the right way. We never cut corners. We never skimp on details. We never do less than the job requires. That's why we offer our industry's exclusive 10-year everything guarantee. And it's why we have the happiest customers. If you need any gutters, siding, or replacement windows, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or online at rgsutah.com.
Matthew.
Huh?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time 12:45. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Utah now has the second highest rate of vaccine exemptions for kindergartners in the nation, and local officials are worried about what that'll mean for measles cases as kids get ready to head back to school. On KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a Saratoga Springs man is being accused of firing as many as 8 shots during a road rage chase through Grantsville this weekend. Third, traffic and weather together.
We are back to a nice and quiet drive on all of your Salt Lake County freeways, but we do have slowdowns. It's all due to roadwork southbound I-15 going from Kaysville to Farmington, and that is near Burton Lane. That construction will continue to go on for a while, so anticipate some slowing. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
97 and breezy in Salt Lake City with a red flag warning across most of the state. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 91 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Texas House lawmakers set to reconvene in less than 2 hours to vote on a redrawn congressional map. But state Democrats have fled the state, protesting what they call gerrymandering that would give the GOP 5 new seats ahead of midterms. The House must have a quorum of 100 lawmakers to proceed.
But more than 50 Texas House Democrats are in Chicago, not Austin.
We're not here to play political games.
State Representative Gene Wu of Houston.
We're here to demand an end to this corrupt process.
President Trump has said he wants to see 5 more Republicans in Congress. GOP state lawmakers here have drawn a new map that virtually guarantees it. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says Democrats will be ousted if they don't return. In Montana, the search continues for a gunman who killed 4 people inside a bar in the town of Anaconda on Friday. Police say the suspect, an Army veteran, Michael Paul Brown, is considered armed and dangerous. And on Wall Street, stocks are up in afternoon trading. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. Hazy skies again today in Utah as air quality takes a hit due to wildfire smoke. Joining me now live is meteorologist Sam Weber from the National Weather Service. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us. And what is the air quality looking like right now?
Yeah, air quality around Utah really is looking quite all right. We're seeing moderate air quality, which is kind of that first level of deteriorating air quality. So obviously not green, but also not terrible. Most of the smoke that we're seeing right now is fairly elevated, except for kind of near point sources like the Monroe Canyon fire.
And do you anticipate it being similar for the next couple of days, or worse, or better?
Yeah, I would anticipate, at least for the next several days, for things to remain fairly similar. I think a lot of what we're going to see over the next couple of days is just elevated smoke. There's a new emerging fire in Southern California that we think we're seeing a lot of that smoke right now is what it's being sourced from. So we're not really smelling it, but you can definitely see it, and that kind of elevated smoke is probably what we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of days.
And we've had some pretty windy conditions. How could that affect our air quality?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as windy conditions kind of come into place, we're overturning more of the atmosphere, and we could start mixing some of that wind, smoke down as we kind of get these windy conditions in place. But for now, the Utah Department of Environmental Air Quality is forecasting moderate air quality through at least Wednesday across the state of Utah. So for now, we expect things to stay pretty similar to how they are.
Okay. Are there any other concerns on your radar as far as the wind or air quality go?
No, I think winds are going to be remaining out of the southwest for several days. We have red flag warnings in place, so bear that in mind. But as far as air quality goes, again, so long as these fires to our southwest are continuing to crank out smoke, I think we're going to continue to see some smoke in the air here locally in Utah.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been the KSL In Depth. I've been speaking with Sam Weber, a meteorologist from the National Weather Service. KSL News time, 12:49. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
Construction slowdown southbound I-15 going from Kaysville to Farmington. This is kind of the typical drive anymore with workers out in force trying to get our roads shaped up. We also have a small accident being cleared in Salt Lake City. This is at 4th North Beaumont. Now that's just to the west of 5th West. I don't think it's really going to cause too much of a problem. If you're going to be traveling any of the Salt Lake County freeways, you are good to go. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cyprus Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypruscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. I got a hot one. 97 today. Mostly sunny skies, breezy, and even smoky. Red flag warning out for the entire state. 94 tomorrow. Sunshine, a little smoky. Highs near 98 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday. Sunshine. 93 cooler on your Friday. Mostly sunny skies. I got 89, mostly sunny again on Saturday. How about Sunday? 92 with sunshine. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 93 degrees in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
This Friday from 10 to 1, the movie show comes to Sound Sleep. But first, take time to learn about a better night's rest. Sound Sleep delivers oral appliance therapy that treats sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. They're professionally fit, warranted, and covered by most major medical insurance. End the days of a poor night's sleep. With offices from Clearfield to St. George, Sound Sleep will help. Call Sound Sleep at 801-716-8672 today.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
How does a soccer club born in an unlikely place,
Utah? You sure you want to do that in Utah?
built with players no one else wanted,
We knew no one believed in us.
reach the league's highest heights?
We finally did it. It was like just this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain.
How does that same team find a way to shatter expectations in the midst of a fight for its own survival?
Our club is burning to the ground as we speak.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and in a new podcast, Making of a Moment, the RSL story, we take a closer look at one of those iconic sports moments
Soccer is a crazy game, and we saw it firsthand tonight.
and unravel how knowing the truth of these moments can transform what they mean.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now. Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time 12:54. Needy students and families in Davis County are getting some help with back-to-school needs thanks to a community closet event. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff has the details.
At the event held over the weekend at Bountiful High School, needy families were able to get clothing, bedding, and other necessities thanks to the efforts of Yvonne Applegate and some of her friends. She tells KSL.com they began organizing the community closet giveaways back in 2017 after reading a book in their book club that encouraged them to wear only 7 items of clothing, the amount an average person in poverty owns.
Applegate says one person donated 2 pallets worth of clothing to the annual event. Watching Utah's money, Americans are watching how they spend their money a little closer. The Wall Street Journal says more people are clipping coupons and buying generic brands. More shoppers are going to bulk items as well. Spirit Halloween is known for taking over bankrupt and empty stores, and it's working quickly this year. USA Today says several locations are already slotted for businesses that just recently closed. That includes Big Lots, Forever 21, Joann Fabrics, and Rite Aid. Young diners are coming in hot, literally. A new report from Data Essentials says in the span of 3 months, restaurant chains launched 76 new spicy menu items to appease younger crowds. They're gaining popularity on TikTok and other social media apps. Your money at this moment, things are still up. The Dow gaining 506 points, the S&P up 79 points, the NASDAQ has gained 363 points. Former BYU quarterback Jake Retzlaff has joined the fall camp at Tulane, where he's trying to win the starting job. And after one of the practices, reporters asked him how he feels about his former school, BYU. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
The lawsuit accusing Retzlaff of sexual assault was dismissed, but he was still facing a reported 7-game suspension for breaking the honor code, which is why he decided to give Tulane a try for his senior season. But he says his feelings for BYU, they haven't changed.
I'm excited to watch them play. I'm excited to watch whatever quarterback gets out of that quarterback battle to lead those guys down that team. I got a lot of love for that program over there at BYU. It was an amazing place. It made me an amazing human being. I feel like it helped me grow in so many ways on and especially off the field. That place was transformative for me. Like I said, I got family there. That is a family place. I'm so much rooting for their success. I can't wait to see what they do.
Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure, dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare.
Wow. With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
If you talk and they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy. So we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
KSL News Time 12:59. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
We began our noontime drive with a bit of a bumpy start, with fire crews battling a roadside fire in between north and southbound I-15 in the heart of the valley. We are wrapping up the noon commute on a quiet note. Even the delays have eased a bit on southbound I-15 in Davis County going between Kaysville and Farmington. Fill up your bucket list in Box Elder County. History, recreation, and wildlife. And excellent dining and shopping await you. Learn more at visitboxeldercounty.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Warm, sunny, and windy this entire week. A high of 97 today. Will stay around that high most of the week, but it drops down to 89 for a high on Saturday, so that's going to be a welcome cool-off point. Today, or right now, it's 93 degrees and mostly cloudy with some wind.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Campers evacuated in the early morning hours due to a new wildfire. The location near the popular Tibble Fork Reservoir.
Started hearing this buzzing sound, some sirens, and I just thought it was another camper just, waking up too early, making too much noise. But then you heard over the air horn a police officer saying, everybody, you need to evacuate. There's a wildfire. You need to go right now.
The time is 1 o'clock on Monday, August 4th. It's midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll get a live update on the conditions and how the closures may affect your end of summer plans. Also this hour,
it's parental involvement, but last year I was really lucky and I had a lot, so hopefully we keep it up this year with parental involvement.
Back to school season. It's rapidly approaching. We have special coverage of the things you need to know before your kids head back to the classroom. But first, our top stories. We're hearing about a rise in whooping cough in southern Utah. The Southwest Utah Public Health Department said last week they've had 30 reported cases in Washington County and 2 in Iron County. 1 child has been hospitalized. Whooping cough is a highly contagious respiratory disease that starts like a cold, but it causes coughing fits that can last up to 10 weeks. Infants under a year old are at high risk of experiencing complications due to whooping cough. Red flag warnings are in place for a majority of the state as high temperatures and dry conditions persist.
We could see gusts up to 35 plus. And of course, the hot temperatures across the state are going to help fires that are already existing to continue to burn hot and fast. But any new fires that do start could really take off.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says we're also in single-digit humidity levels, meaning foliage, grass, and wood are drier than usual and have more potential to catch on fire. The state is still under Stage 2 fire restrictions, meaning you can't have open flames outside at all. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The latest round of President Trump's tariff will go into effect later this week. Some businesses are now warning American customers that they'll be paying more.
Procter & Gamble just last week raised its prices this month. Best Buy, Walmart, Dollar General, and Mattel have been talking about price increases, some echoing Walmart, which said the prices of imported items could go up, but they would keep prices, quote, as low as we can. They know that customers want to see lower prices.
That's ABC Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis reporting. Thousands of Boeing workers who assemble fighter jets in the St. Louis area hit the picket lines this week.
This comes after members of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers rejected the company's latest contract offer over the weekend. Boeing leaders say it's disappointing that employees voted down the modified contract offer, especially since it resolved their primary issue on alternative work schedules. Meanwhile, there's no word of any new talks in this labor dispute. Jill Enders, ABC News, St. Louis.
Your money at this moment, taking a look at the markets, the Dow has gained 511 points, the S&P up 80 points, the NASDAQ gaining 362 points. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Here's Ricky Meese.
Freeway traffic rolling along and looking good in Salt Lake County. A little bit of the typical slowing at times southbound I-15 going through the work zone between Kaysville and Farmington. And we also have lanes restricted, and this is going to be northbound I-215's West Belt due to road work that began last week between the 201 junction and North Temple. Why settle for a basic night out when all tickets for Utah Symphony and Utah Opera performances are now on sale? Don't wait. Prices go up after August 31st. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Right now, it's partly sunny and 93 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
At Trio Senior Living, older adults aren't slowing down. They're just getting started. The Prime Fit Wellness Program expands wellness beyond the gym into every aspect of community life. Whatever your goals, the team at Trio Senior Living has got your back, so you can put your best foot forward. Call 801-475-4004 today to schedule your personal visit.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
A new wildfire is affecting a popular recreation spot in Utah County. It's forcing campers to evacuate with only a few minutes' notice. The Mill Canyon fire now burning near Tibble Fork Reservoir. The Alpine Loop is closed this hour as a result. Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson. I'm in for Maria Shilaos. Utah Fire Watch. We have special coverage on KSL News Radio. We begin with Eric Cabrera, who's live at American Fork Canyon with what we know. Eric, can you bring us up to speed?
Absolutely, Britt. Like you said, it's being called the Mill Canyon Fire, and while on last check it wasn't big compared to others we've reported on, crews are treating it seriously because of where it's burning, deep in the timber just east of Tibble Fork Reservoir.
And so, because it doesn't sound like it's a huge fire, what makes this so concerning?
So it's the location, right? Forest officials estimate it was about a quarter acre when they found it, but it's burning in thick, rugged forest that's hard to reach. So fire engines, for example, can't get in. So crews have to hike up with hand tools, and they're relying on aircraft to drop water and fire retardant.
Yeah, that sounds like it's got to slow down those firefighters quite a bit.
Exactly, Britt. You've got steep terrain, dense fuel, limited access. So even a small fire like this one takes serious effort to contain.
And you talked about evacuations. Who's being impacted with these evacuations?
Right. So far, the U.S. Forest Service has evacuated the Granite Flat Campground, the Tibble Fork Summer Home area, and the reservoir itself. They've closed the whole zone to the public, roads, trails, everything, just to keep people out of the way while heavy equipment and crews move in.
And are there any visuals of the fire?
Yeah, so we actually did have a listener who was hiking nearby send us a video this morning. You can see a column of smoke rising up through the trees, and it really does highlight how dense this area is. It's not somewhere you can just drive up and put it out. It takes coordination from the air and on the ground.
And have investigators figured out what started the fire?
Not yet. So Forest Service says the cause is still under investigation, but with how dry it's been lately in the backcountry, they're moving fast to keep it from spreading.
Okay. Well, Eric, thank you so much. We're going to keep in touch with you throughout today. And of course, you can follow the latest updates anytime at kslnewsradio.com or on the KSL app. The Mill Canyon fire is forcing the closure of a popular alpine loop. Joining me live now is Sergeant Ray Ormond with the Utah County Sheriff's Office. Sergeant, the road is still closed right now. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. On the 144 turnoff off of SR 92 to go to Tibble Fork is still closed.
And so what's kind of been going on with it today?
Today was a fire up in that area. It was decided by the Forest Service to close that intersection off just to limit. The roads are narrow up there, and fire apparatuses that we've had on site with some of our brush trucks are larger, and so it just made it easier to be able to get those vehicles into the area, to be able to assist with hand crews hiking up in to fight the fire. And then our deputies also assisted with the evacuations of the Granite Flat Campground, Tibble Fork, Silver Lake area, just to help clear out those people so that the fire department would have the ability to get in there and quickly work on the fire.
Now, we've heard that that area isn't easily accessible for fire trucks. Can you kind of describe what the area is like while you're trying to fight this fire?
You bet. So having hiked in that area before, it is kind of a single-track trail. There's a parking area that you can park on the other side of the river, and you have to access that area via a bridge. And it is thick. It's thick timber. There's a lot of undergrowth underneath the timber in that area that does make just hiking through that area a little bit challenging if you get off trail. So definitely going up in there to fight that by hand. They're going to have to carry everything that they need in there with them, whether it be chainsaws, fuel for the chainsaws, and other hand tools to be able to limit and mitigate the fire from spreading.
And tell me a little bit about the size of the fire and if there are areas that are under evacuation.
So last time I had heard, the fire was estimated in the size of being a quarter acre. They've been able to contain it and mitigate it really from spreading using air assets. That was really a key tool to be able to have that helicopter in the area to be able to put water on it fast and quickly. The evacuations that are affecting that area are still going to be up in the Silver Lake homes area and those cabins that are up by the Silver Lake Flat and anywhere really in the Tibble Fork side of American Fork Canyon. And talking with the Forest Service, they plan on having that closed probably all of today.
And this is a pretty popular area for summer recreating, as far as I understand. And so if people were hoping to get up there at some point in the near future, what should they know?
Yeah, it is. It's an extremely popular area to go up and recreate. Like I stated, it's going to be closed to today. I don't see there being a long-term impact in the area. So, if people want to go up there tomorrow or the next day, they should just check with the Forest Service to make sure that it's open. When I was up in that area at the Tibble Fork parking lot, there wasn't anything that had been damaged or otherwise altered by the fire down in that area. So people should still be able to go up there and recreate within the next day or two.
Okay, well, that's good news. I've been talking with Sergeant Ormond with Utah County Sheriff's Office. In just 60 seconds, Midday will return with a first-hand account of the early morning evacuations. Stay with us.
You've lived with the pain long enough. The missed meals, covered smiles, the moments you've avoided because of your teeth. If you're living with missing or broken teeth or struggling with dentures, take your life back. Stubbs Dental Implant Center has helped thousands reclaim their health, confidence, and joy with permanent dental implants. What do Stubbs Dental patients say?
I'm no longer in pain, and I can finally be myself again after getting dental implants. I just wish I would have gone to Stubbs Dental sooner.
I was at a denture for 10 years before I got dental implants. My life has completely changed thanks to Stubbs Dental.
You know, I hated looking at myself in the mirror. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been life-changing.
As a 3-time Best of State winner with over 2,500 5-star Google reviews, Stubbs Dental doesn't just fix teeth, they change lives. Visit StubbsDental.com today to reserve your free consultation. A $350 value, completely free. StubbsDental.com.
Utah Fire Watch. Our special coverage continues on Midday. Some people are trying to get one last hurrah in the mountains before summer ends, and they got an unexpected wake-up call this morning. Campers in part of American Fork Canyon were forced to evacuate in just minutes after a fire popped up near Tibble Fork Reservoir. KSL TV's Alex Cabrero was one of those campers. He spoke to Utah's Morning News about the evacuations.
I was actually in a campsite up at a Granite Flat Campground, camping overnight with my dog when started hearing this buzzing sound, some sirens, and I just thought it was another camper just, waking up too early, making too much noise. But then you heard over the air horn, over the siren, a police officer saying, "Everybody, you need to evacuate. There's a wildfire. You need to go right now." So you just throw everything you can into your car and you get out of there.
Did you even get to pack up your tent, Alex?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not put away properly. It's all in the back of my Jeep right now in a big mess, and my dog is wondering what's going on. But no, they did a great job. They went through fast. As I'm going out of Granite Flat Campground into the Tibble Fork Reservoir parking lot, I mean, there are tons of firefighters already starting the stage. You could see the smoke right by Tibble Fork Reservoir. I didn't see any flames or anything like that, but a lot of smoke. And they're just trying to get everybody out of there as quickly as possible.
Did you happen to notice anybody with campfires while you were camping, Alex? Because I'm thinking we're in one of those emergency situations where those are restricted.
Right, and campfires were allowed in the campgrounds last night where I was, but they had to be in that fire ring. Out in that section where the smoke was, there are no established campgrounds up there. And I noticed when I went up last night, there were hundreds of people. Tibble Fork is a very popular area. There were a lot of people up there, but where I noticed the smoke, just from knowing that area fairly well, there are no established campgrounds. So somebody might have been just, dispersed camping kind of a thing, starting their own wildfire or starting their own fire, just surrounded by rocks or something like that perhaps, but no fire rings or anything like that in that area where I saw the smoke.
Alex, for the listeners who haven't seen any pictures from up there, how dry are the conditions out? Obviously the water's fine, but outside of that, how dry are the conditions in the area?
In that part where I noticed, it was still pretty green. It looked pretty good up there, at least the foliage. I didn't see a whole lot of brown or yellow or anything like that, but obviously the ground cover, that's where it starts cooking up pretty good there. Some fuels for a while.
If we still have you with us, Alex, what time were you evacuated? When did that happen this morning?
This is at about 7 o'clock this morning is when I first started hearing those sirens and those announcements to evacuate, about 7 o'clock.
So they're letting you go down American Fork Canyon Road to get back to SR 92. So it's open for evacuees, but not open for any other traffic.
Well, I noticed the people over at Timpanogos at the cave there, the National Monument, that people were still coming up to do their hikes and such. So from what I noticed, this was maybe 20, 30 minutes ago, that the highway up American Fork Canyon, that road is still open, but the turnoff, when you get toward Tibble Fork Reservoir there, that turnoff is blocked by a police officer. You can't go that way. The turnoff is closed.
And that's KSL 5 TV's Eric Cabrero. He was speaking to Utah's Morning News about being evacuated due to a new fire up in American Fork Canyon this morning. Stick with KSL and stay up to date on all the fire news you need to know. Just go to kslnewsradio.com and click on Utah Fire Watch at the top of the homepage. A political fight over redistricting in Texas could play a major role in the makeup of the U.S. House after 2026. More on that after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Ricky?
Salt Lake County Freeway is looking good. We do have a crash in Utah County. It's eastbound on Highway 6 near Diamond Fork Road, but it's out of traffic and no delay. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Listen to KSL for the new and traditional content you've always loved. There's the new Inside Sources, expanded from 9 to noon, and new expanded news coverage with Maria Shilaos on midday, noon to 3. And of course, the news and weather from voices you love, mornings and afternoons. Here are new traditions and the familiar ones on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does your job require you to be on your feet all day? Teachers, postal carriers, salespeople, and restaurant staff, many of us need our feet to get us through the day. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet store, and I'd like you to hear from Donna. She's a nurse and a real customer of the Good Feet store who wanted to share her story.
Oh, I have to tell you, I have struggled with pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. With the 3-step program, it really fits to your lifestyle. I work in a hospital. I'm a registered nurse, so being on my feet, walking throughout the hospital during the day, I am free from any type of pain. And after working a 12-hour shift, I go home and my feet do not hurt.
Whether you're a nurse or anyone wanting to enjoy work without your feet getting in the way, come see us at the Good Feet store.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Schedule your free test walk at goodfeet.com.
Hi, Grandma. What's for dinner?
Hey, honey, I'm making stew tonight.
Ooh, can Nina come over?
I'm not sure about our new friend. I wonder if there's been any drinking going on. Alcohol at her age can lead to so many bad things. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
This is hard. She's so young, but I know I need to talk to her about it now before someone tries to give her alcohol. If anyone ever does offer you a drink, I want you to say no. I have too much respect for my family, and I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay.
Really?
I promise, Grandma. I love you too.
Okay, how about tasting this stew and telling me what you think?
Some children may try alcohol as young as 9 years old. It's not too early to talk about drinking. For tips on how to begin the conversation, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. Dozens of Democratic lawmakers have left Texas, their absence blocking a scheduled vote today to redraw congressional districts. That would give Republicans up to 5 seats in the House. That proposal coming after President Trump demanded the change, seeking to increase the chances that Republicans maintain control of the U.S. House after the 2026 midterms. Start Here host Brad Milkey has the details.
Midterm elections are kind of like pumpkin spice lattes. It always feels too early to talk about them, but once they hit, they are huge. Well, next year's midterm elections are an especially big deal because of this simple issue. So, whenever a new president comes into office, the opposing party usually picks up several seats in Congress. Does not matter what the parties are, this always seems to happen. Meaning, since Donald Trump came into office, you'd usually expect Democrats to do pretty well next fall. Well, here's the thing. The Republican advantage in the House is so slim right now that Democrats would only have to flip a few seats to seize back control. So, all those bills President Trump is able to pass right now with a Republican House, that could conceivably go out the window after the midterms, which, if you're a Republican strategist, should have you thinking, how can we possibly overcome this math? How can we avoid losing that many seats? Well, President Trump has suggested a simple solution. What if you redrew congressional districts in red states like Texas to favor Republicans? Like last year's election gave Texas 25 Republicans, 13 Democrats in Congress. What if you could go to 30 Republicans and 8 Democrats without even convincing a lot of Texans to vote differently?
On Texas, how many more seats do you want the Republicans to draw? 5.
It's a radical idea. These districts get drawn every 10 years in the wake of census data. Here, you would need state lawmakers to push through a new map 5 years early. Well, Texas Republicans now appear to be on board, and it has thrown the state house into chaos that really exploded overnight. ABC's Oren Oppenheim joins us this morning. Oren, can you walk through this proposed map and why it would make such a big difference?
Well, Brad, Texas Republicans introduced this map in a bill that they filed on Wednesday. And some of the major differences that we're seeing is that it doesn't increase the number of seats that Texas would have in the House. But basically, analysts think that it would allow Republicans to pick up maybe between 3 to 5 new seats that were previously held by Democrats. And one of the more granular changes is that the relatively Democratic city of Austin is now split among 3 different districts, leaving a relatively Democratic district in the center and then 2 Republican-leaning districts on either side.
We're not going to let Donald Trump take our votes. This is our state.
2 representatives, Rep. Lloyd Doggett and Rep. Greg Kasar from the Austin area, would now be in the same district and would potentially face each other in a Democrat-on-Democrat incumbent primary in 2026.
Wait, Oren, though, this sounds very intentional, right? So we keep using the word redistricting. Should we be using the word gerrymandering? Because it sounds like a gerrymander where you draw the map specifically to get yourself the result you want in November. Like, is that what this is? And is that legal, I guess?
So this has been hashed out a ton in the courts, and the Supreme Court has taken on this question too. And the Supreme Court ruled a few years ago that federal courts couldn't weigh in on political redistricting. So basically, yeah, you are allowed to consider political performance, political considerations when drawing maps. You're not allowed to really draw these maps based on race or any racial considerations. But you are allowed to take into account political performance, political considerations.
So you're allowed to be like, we think this will be better for Republicans. We're going to draw the map like that. You couldn't be, this will have more white or black voters or something. But you can just be like, we want more Republicans in that district. That's fine.
Right. Although the way that Texas Republicans are framing it is that they say more Republicans have moved into Texas, and Texas went more Republican this time. We saw more Hispanic voters vote for Republicans in Texas than before in the 2024 election.
This means growing communities don't get left behind, and rural voices, which have always been about the backbone of Texas, still carry weight in our government.
So they're framing it as, well, this is just meant to help us match how people in the state are voting.
Now, Texas legislators were supposed to discuss the proposal on the House floor today, but overnight, Democratic state legislatures fled the state to prevent the state House from having enough people present to vote. So what's known as a quorum. They're basically saying that they want to run out the clock on the special session that would debate this redistricting proposal.
They're saying we're not going to show up, and they're saying we're leaving the state so that you can't do anything about it, because it's unclear if Texas really has jurisdiction over these legislators if they're out of the state. It's dicey. There are ways that the Texas Attorney General is talking about maybe being able to compel them to come back, saying a lot of options are on the table.
I'm calling on the Speaker to do right now. If he's serious, he would immediately convene a call of the House and go out and arrest these Democrats.
And one Republican state representative, Brian Harrison, actually said last night that the Texas Speaker of the House should tell law enforcement to arrest the Democrats who have left the state. It's unclear if they really be able to do so, but he's telling them that they should be in trouble for this. And to be clear, they're not framing it as hiding out. The Democrats are framing it as we are fighting back and we are fighting for Texans by leaving the state and making sure Republicans cannot pass these maps that we see as really damaging. So yeah, last night we found out that some are going to Illinois, some are going to New York, some may be going to other states.
We did not make the decision to come here today. We did not make a decision lightly. But we come here today with absolute moral clarity.
On Sunday night, they held a press conference with Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has been a strong ally of the Texas Democrats and met with some of them last month as well, and is part of this ongoing redistricting story, too.
Yeah, or the larger story seems to be like, this isn't just limited to Texas, right? Like, they're the first state to be trying this, but you could conceivably, I guess, have more states, both red and blue, try to, like, either run up the score or even out the score. So, I mean, what are the next steps here?
A couple of blue state governors have actually said explicitly that they're considering trying to redraw their state's congressional maps if Texas goes along with redrawing its own.
I'm not going to sit back any longer in a position, the fetal position, in a position of weakness, when in fact California could demonstrably advance strength.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom, for instance, has presented his own plan to possibly hold a special statewide election on Election Day this year for Californians to decide on new maps.
We're here to provide a pathway in 26, 28, and in 2030 for congressional maps on the basis of a response to the rigging of the system.
It's dicey because California uses an independent redistricting commission, and so he's basically going to be asking voters, well, are you willing to take on these temporary maps for now because of what's happening in Texas, and we'll go back to the commission in 2030, 2031.
Oh, that's interesting that it's almost like Democrat-run states in recent years have almost, you could call it like unilateral disarmament, where they've basically said, we're going to make this a fair process by having an independent commission, but now they find themselves unable to take some of these steps that, say, Texas is.
Right, exactly, Brad. And in New York as well, Governor Kathy Hochul has said that she's also willing to consider redrawing maps, and 2 state legislators there introduced their own proposal to try to redraw New York's maps. Meanwhile, one of my colleagues spoke with Democratic governors over the weekend at a policy retreat in Madison, Wisconsin, and they told her that they're backing California's governor and other blue state leaders who are saying that Democrats need to go on the offense and need to try to redraw their own maps.
What they're trying to do in Texas has really increased the danger to our democracy, and as a result of that, we've got to do things that perhaps in the past I would not have supported.
And we were even seeing Eric Holder, former Attorney General and chair of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, said that, quote, responsible Democrats in other states have to take into account what he said was a threat to democracy, and he hopes that they'll take steps that are, quote, temporary but responsible. At the same time, he's also an advocate for how these Democratic states have done redistricting, which includes doing it through independent commissions and only doing it once per decade. Right. Because to do it mid-decade, like Texas is doing, is really unusual.
That's ABC's Oren Oppenheim and the Start Here host, Brad Milkey. We'll continue to follow this story and see how it shapes up. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Britt Johnson. Maria Shilaos has the day off. Some of the stories we're watching this hour. Teachers, many of them heading back to the classroom this week, will get their perspective on the coming school year. Creepy crawlies, a chance to ease your kids back into learning by playing with bugs. And KSL traffic. Ricky?
Road work causing some slowdowns, pretty typical southbound I-15 near Burton Lane going from Kaysville to Farmington. Britt?
KSL's top stories in 1 minute, but first, the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Texas Democrats have left the state capitol and dozens have fled the state, protesting Republican plans to redraw congressional maps to give the GOP 5 more House seats before midterms. Democrats call those carved-out maps gerrymandering. ABC's Maria Villarreal is outside the Capitol in Austin, where the governor has ordered state Democrats back next hour or to face fines.
Just like most government buildings around the country, this one is actually open for visitors, and it really is the last week or two before school starts. So we are seeing a lot of people come in and just check things out. They know the drama that is going to possibly ensue here in just a few hours. And that's when we're expecting them to gavel in.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now says he plans to convene his cabinet this week to outline a military solution on how to defeat Hamas and free the remaining Hamas-held hostages in Gaza. Investors on a buying spree for stocks today before U.S. tariffs on foreign goods kick in this week. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story, a Saratoga Springs man was arrested, accused of chasing and shooting at another car during a road rage confrontation in Grantsville. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Police really haven't said yet how the road rage started, but they did write in the probable cause statement that when Mark McGahey was chasing the victim's car, he pulled alongside the victims, tried to get the driver and passenger to pull over, but when they didn't, police say he fired a shot. He then drove back behind the victim's car, fired up to 8 shots in total. This chase was happening through the streets of Grantsville City. No one was hit by the gunfire, but police did eventually catch up to the suspect, and he was booked in jail for all kinds of suggested charges, including attempted murder. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Utah now has the second highest rate of vaccine exemptions in the nation, according to new data from the CDC. And local officials are worried about how this could affect the spread of measles when kids go back to school this month. Rich Lakin is the immunization director for the Utah Department of Health and Human Services.
Infections starting within a school that has a very high exemption rate could be disastrous. And so we really ask parents that if they're on the fence to vaccinate their child.
Lakin says any effects you get from a vaccine are minimal compared to the disease they're protecting you against. Safety officials are spreading the word to drivers as kids start heading back to school. They're worried about a possible fresh wave of crashes in crosswalks. Jeremiah LaFranca is the executive director of the American Red Cross Greater Salt Lake chapter.
Essentially, we've seen pedestrian fatalities go down over the past 30 years, but there's been an 11% increase in fatalities of children.
LaFranca says the combo of distracted drivers and distracted pedestrians doesn't help the problem. Other local stories KSL is following. Fire officials say the Monroe Canyon fire burning in Sevier and Paiute counties is now 13% contained. It's burned over 62,000 acres, and the weather conditions remain a big concern for firefighters. Humidity in the area near Fish Lake is around 5% today, with wind speeds picking up, and a red flag warning is in place. Your money at this moment, things still looking up. They're in the green. The Dow gaining 586 points. The S&P is up 87 points. The NASDAQ is up 381 points. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a nice and quiet drive on your Salt Lake County freeways. Again, you want to remember that Tibble-Fort Canyon, that is closed to traffic at this time. And if you happen to be traveling through the work zone, a little bit of slowing southbound I-15 near Burton Lane on the way to Farmington. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Right now, it's partly cloudy and 93 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing selection, convenience, and exceptional service. With 3 locations, Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, and Performance Toyota, Performance Automotive is here to serve your needs. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, where excellence comes standard. Start your search at performancebountiful.com.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. Many teachers around the state reporting back to work this week ahead of the start of the new school year. Over the next few weeks, hundreds of thousands of Utah kids will be back in the classroom, ready to learn for another year. Ahead of the new school year, how are teachers feeling? What are they worried about? What are they looking forward to? It's something a lot of you parents might not think about at the beginning of the year. We're so busy worrying about getting our own kids ready for school and all of the things that entails. But KSL 5 TV spoke with dozens of teachers attending the Stand Up for Teachers conference over the weekend, finding out more about their biggest challenges and concerns for the coming year. Here's Deanie Wimmer with more.
We talked to a few dozen teachers attending a conference about their outlook for school, their biggest concerns, and signs of progress.
It's nice to see you, Brian. Have a good one.
Hundreds of Utah teachers attending the Show Up for Teachers conference are looking forward to a new year and meeting their students.
This is my first classroom, so I'm just barely trying to figure out how to set things up and all of that, and then getting everything prepped. So it's definitely overwhelming, but we're getting through it, and I have a great team and a great school.
I know what I'm doing at the beginning of the year, so that part's taken care of now. It's more of the mental game, getting psychologically prepared for all of it.
It means community. It means coming together and really learning and honing our skills and being able to work through and learn new opportunities.
I've definitely been putting a lot of stuff together this summer.
We asked the #1 challenge they face in the classroom. The most often mentioned, student mental health and behavior.
Student-wise, it's mental health. It's a lot of kids aren't knowing how to self-regulate anymore, so they're just kind of emotional messes.
Mental health, that awareness of what they're dealing with at home, and trying to make sure that our classrooms are a safe space for them to learn, grow, and sometimes that's really challenging for them.
They got some tough behaviors. They don't know how to socialize with each other. They don't know how to act in the classroom. It's their first time at school, so it's really tricky.
I think kids now earlier feel a little more entitled sometimes, like, this is what I want, this is what I get, and if I don't want it, I don't have to do it.
And mental health for kids has really been a focus over the past few years. When asked what the best change has been in the past school years, many said more counselors.
Getting elementary counselors in our schools. When we started off, most of us were covering 2 schools. We're starting to see more counselors just assigned to one school. And hopefully this trend continues so that we can better serve students.
Counselors, like our school had one that was shared with multiple schools. We now have one that's full-time at our school.
But the most common response on what is the most positive change, teachers feel more heard and supported.
I feel like we've gotten a lot of more teacher support, which has been nice.
The funding did just go up, so it used to be $250 a year, and now we get $500. So it doubled, which is awesome.
Having our administration really get involved and listening to what we're asking for and pitching in to help us make it happen. So we're excited about that.
Better funding. We're paying teachers a little bit better, which encourages people to actually join the career.
Changes, I think, in our pay have gone up.
I think that's one of the best things is they're listening more and we're able to advocate more.
Teachers told us their top concerns often revolved around lack of engagement from students and parents.
The apathy of students. Our students, I've been teaching for 23 years, and that's the hardest thing to deal with junior high kids is the apathy. A lot of kids just don't care. So they come to school for the social aspect, but I've had several students who did not do one assignment all year long.
Sometimes it's parental involvement, but last year I was really lucky and I had a lot, so hopefully we keep it up this year with parental involvement.
In my district, absenteeism. Many kids have other priorities, or families have other priorities, and sometimes school doesn't come first.
I think keeping our kids engaged and just wanting to be there and jumping in and being excited. I think we have a little bit lacking in that engagement, wanting them to be engaged and participate. We're competing against cell phones, and that's hard.
Other concerns for teachers are covering a broad range, and it makes sense because in today's day and age, teachers are dealing with more distractions and challenges than ever before.
Literacy can be a tricky thing just as we're learning and new programs.
I would say, just like lack of resources and funding is tricky because we are really trying to help these kids be successful, helping them to read, especially in kindergarten.
Things is so rapidly changing with AI that we are preparing students today for careers that in 5-10 years may be totally different than what we're doing now. That's the challenge.
I would say population growth. I'm starting to see a lot of higher classrooms numbers.
Within the first 5 years, general educators quit teaching at a 50% rate. Special educators is close to 70.
It's the curriculums that we're getting, especially our school. We have a really great curriculum program that we make in-house, and it really helps our kids learn.
Outside influences, social media, kids growing up with cell phones and smartwatches and not reading enough books.
Trying to meet, the expectations for test scores and trying to get the kids to make the jumps and the gains and the academic improvements and behavioral improvements as well. And because it's Eagle Mountain and there's so much growth, class size is a big concern.
Getting enough technicians that can help.
Bottom line, teachers are eager to get back in the classroom and try their best to meet the needs of their students.
All of them having different abilities and capabilities and teaching to all of them at the same time. It's crazy, it's wild, but I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love my students.
We're excited. Yeah, we love it.
Our thanks to KSL 5 TV's Deanie Wimmer and her Sunday edition show for this in-depth look. Stick with KSL this week as we get you and your kids prepared to go back to school. We'll cover all sorts of topics like how the cost for back to school supplies is going up, to how to keep your kids safe to and from school, and how artificial intelligence is impacting the classroom. You can find these resources and so much more on our website, kslnewsradio.com. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Everyone needs a checking account, so get the one with built-in benefits to complement your unique lifestyle. Mountain America's My Style Checking has perks no one can pass up. You'll enjoy sizzling restaurant deals, peace of mind mobile phone protection, timely telehealth access, built-in identity protection, and clutch loan rate discounts. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle. Insured by NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration or activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
More than 1 in 10 full-time public school teachers in the U.S. say they have to work a second job outside of their K-12 duties to make ends meet. And more of them are doing it during the school year. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi spoke with Michael Drought, who's a middle school choir teacher and instructional coach.
I'm in my 11th year of teaching, 9th year in the public schools, and so far I haven't had a summer off from work, and there's been a need to work a second or third job since I've started, actually, until now.
The Pew Research Center says just over half of the teachers surveyed weren't happy with their pay. Michael says it's not just about salary, but salary accounts for a lot, and doing music camps isn't the only way he makes ends meet.
I'm strong into the teacher advocacy. I think awareness is something that helps a lot. I think more stability for teachers. A lot of my concern when I first got hired, I had to teach 5 to 6 different subjects all at once, and that is unique to elective teachers. But I was overwhelmed just with the number of different subjects I was asked to teach. I was teaching guitar and then general music, and then moving to a beginning choir to an advanced choir to a beginning theater class. And in the first 3 years of my teaching career, I had to race to get an endorsement in theater because the job that they offered me was a mix of choir and theater. And even though I had a degree from BYU in music education and was licensed to teach, it came mixed with having to teach other courses I wasn't qualified for officially. So I actually had to organize other teachers like myself and lobby professors to create summer or online classes that we could take to be able to get an endorsement so that we could keep our jobs, because courses didn't exist. And I was just shocked at how overwhelming they had made the profession for incoming teachers. My starting salary was, I think, $40,000. And just prior to that, when I was looking, it was $33,000, $34,000, $35,000. And being a teacher, I knew I'd be taken care of, or I expected to be, but I knew I wouldn't make great money. I didn't realize, though, how little it actually was, and how much work would be required on my end to make ends meet through other means. Even now, so after working in the business sector during the summers, but also I'd wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and I'd work in my closet doing a sales rep job for an hour, and then I'd ride public transit to school to be able to work from my phone remotely on my way to work, just to make ends meet. And so I think helping the public see that we do need qualified educators, male and female, and as a profession, it needs to be able to provide for a family at a regular middle class level, just like any other college degree profession. And it really wouldn't be too difficult if we had the awareness and the political power to lobby our representatives to harness the funds going into education. I'd say, rather than focusing on a lot of the ancillary needs of public education, if you just concentrated your resources on paying teachers a livable salary and wage, you'd have greater competition, higher capable individuals who'd be able to meet a lot of the diverse needs in the classroom.
And the bottom line?
Teaching is one of those careers where I think you go into it for the calling and then find out that you're going to have to think about money a lot to make ends meet.
That's middle school choir teacher and instructional coach Michael Drought. They crawl, they fly, and they just might teach you something new. I'll tell you about a way to ease your kids back into school with the help of bugs. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Ricky?
Salt Lake County Freeway is seeing a nice and quiet drive. No accidents, no delays. Some slowing at times southbound I-15 in Davis County, right through the construction zone as you leave Kaysville and make your way towards the Lagoon exit at Farmington. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked!
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. Be the someone who gives their time. Be the someone who lends an ear. Be the someone who takes a step. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN, asking you to join the fight against sexual violence and volunteer in your community. Log on to RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org, to learn how you can be the someone.
This message brought to you by the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network and this station.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night, too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
This is Midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. We're streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. Looking for something fun and educational to do just before the school year begins? You might want to take your kids to Bug Fest at the Natural History Museum of Utah. I spoke with Christy Bills, Entomology Collections Manager at the museum, to find out more.
So Bug Fest is an annual weekend festival that we do here at the Natural History Museum of Utah. We're really proud of the event because it's for all ages, all people, all comfort levels with insects. We have crafts for little kids. We have lectures with experts. We have some vendors that sell great art and jewelry. We have a wonderful chef that makes really amazing dishes that include insects in them, like muffins and like things you really want to eat, not just like gross out factor. We have workshops so that people can get hands-on and learn to either make art with insects or other types of things, and we teach people about how to learn iNaturalist so they can learn how to interact with their own environment so that they can document the insects and plants and other living things around them and learn more themselves.
Now, Bugfest might be really in someone's wheelhouse, but it's also probably not in everyone's, would be my guess. So why do you think this kind of education is important for everybody to learn?
Oh my goodness, insects are around us all the time. And they're a vital part of life on Earth. In fact, we're experiencing an insect apocalypse right now, where we are finding, researchers around the world are finding that insect populations are declining dramatically. And with that, we're finding other populations of animals on Earth are also declining, possibly because the insects are their food source. So it's very concerning. So it's probably a good idea for people to get more comfortable with bugs so we don't reach for the bug spray constantly, because most bugs have nothing to do with people. They're not dangerous to us. They're not out to harm us. And many of them are so lovely and interesting. They have a lot to teach us about the way life on Earth functions.
And when you said, let's get more comfortable with bugs, one thing that stuck out to me that you said earlier was the bug food that's going to be an option at Bugfest. Have you tried it all?
I've tried some, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have a lot of food allergies, so personally I can't be super food adventurous, but many cultures outside of North America eat insects in their food or primarily as the entree, and it's a really common thing. So people who eat shrimp are pretty close to eating bugs. Shrimp are arthropods, as are crab and lobsters. So these are just like little tiny crabs and lobsters.
And do people say that they like it after they try it?
Yeah, I mean, Megan, our chef, is really good. She's not just like handing you a cockroach to bite, you know what I mean? She's like baking ants into muffins, so they just look like little poppy seeds and add a little brightness to it. So she's not trying to make things like disgusting and like a creep out factor. It's like insects can contribute a really environmentally friendly source of protein. And the more we think about it, and get more comfortable with it, it might be a solution to some of the issues that we face on Earth right now.
So how can people participate?
Yeah, I highly recommend that people come on Saturday or Sunday to the Natural History Museum and come see what we have. I manage the insect collection here, so it's behind the scenes, and we don't normally get to share it with people. We have maybe 1,500 drawers, and I'll be bringing out about 35 our focus is praying mantises this year, and I'm excited to talk about mantises around the world and how they are cool predators and how they vary in size and shape and are super interesting and weird. There's unicorn mantises. Isn't that fun? So there's just a lot of different spaces to be in and to experience the museum. It's a gorgeous place to be, especially because it's hot and it's nice to be inside. And we also have our exhibit right now, which is Mysteries of the Ice Ages. So if you're feeling hot, that's a fun place to cool down.
And do people need tickets for the Bug Fest?
Yeah, so when you enter the museum, when you pay for admission, that gets you into Bug Fest and all of the crazy fun things that are happening. There are a few tickets left for the watercolor workshop on Sunday. So if people want to learn how to watercolor insects from somebody who is really good at it, that is a separate charge. But everything else is included in admission. And also, if you go to the museum's website, you can find out about discounts we have for people who have EBT or are military, or it's free for university staff and students.
Perfect. Well, Christy, thank you so much for telling us about Bug Fest. It definitely sounds like it'll be an adventurous weekend for sure.
Yeah, fun. It really is. It's fun for all ages. And if you love bugs, it's a place to be. And if you're trying to open your heart to bugs, I hope you'll come and give it a chance.
For all the buzz at Bug Fest, visit nhmu.utah.edu. Coming up on 2 o'clock, more fallout today over President Trump's decision to fire the labor commissioner over poor jobs numbers. More on that in the next hour of Midday.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Children around Utah getting ready to head back to school. Buses, cars, bicyclists, and pedestrians making roads busier.
Essentially, we've seen pedestrian fatalities go down over the past 30 years, but there's been an 11% increase in fatalities of children. People not paying attention to kids when they're on the road, drivers not being aware of their surroundings.
The time is 2 o'clock on Monday, August 4th. It's midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, back to school with KSL. We're digging into something that's probably on the top of many parents' minds, safety. Also this hour,
I think a lot of what we're going to see over the next couple of days is just elevated smoke.
Smoky, hazy skies along the Wasatch Front thanks to fires burning around the state. But first, our top stories. Evacuations are in place around Tibble Fork Reservoir because of a fire there. UDOT has the road closed at the SR 144 and SR 92 intersection, and it will likely be closed for the majority of the day. So far, it's only a quarter of an acre, but the tough terrain is making it difficult for firefighters to access. Fire danger continues across Utah with red flag warnings covering almost the entire state. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
High temperatures and high winds are creating dangerous conditions. We could see gusts up to 35 miles per hour across the state, and areas of southern and central Utah could see gusts up to 45 miles per hour. On top of that, KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says much of the state is also looking at single-digit humidity levels.
This matters because it sucks a lot of the moisture out of the fuel, the timber, the shrubbery, the grass, and makes it more available and ready to combust and burn.
If a fire does start, those winds are expected to pick it up and continue to spread it in multiple directions.
Stage 2 fire restrictions are still in place, meaning no open flames outside at all. Our top national story from ABC News. Federal officials are searching through the woods in Montana for a suspect who police say killed 4 people in a shooting last Friday. ABC's Trevor Alt reporting.
Hundreds of federal and local officials converging on the mountains in search of Army veteran Michael Paul Brown, who they say is armed and extremely dangerous. Authorities say 45-year-old Brown lives next door to the Owl Bar in the small town of Anaconda. They say Friday morning around 10:30, he walked in and shot 3 patrons and a bartender.
Officials say Brown is known to local law enforcement with a criminal record, and his family says he's struggled to get help for mental health issues. The FBI field office in Salt Lake City is assisting with the manhunt. Other national stories KSL is following. economic uncertainty could be driving many consumer decisions in the second half of 2025. More from ABC's Sherry Preston.
According to a new survey from U.S. News and World Report, 85% of Americans are concerned about higher prices on back-to-school items. Consumers are worried about higher costs, caused in part by the Trump administration's recent tariffs. The Wall Street Journal reporting it's leading people to buy in bulk, clip coupons, and seek out generic items.
A recent survey found that families plan to spend an average of about $858 on school supplies, clothes, and electronics this year, which is down about $20 from last year. Your money at this moment, taking a look at the market, let's see, the Dow up 586 points, the S&P also up 87 points, the NASDAQ has gained 381 points. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a new accident. This is in Summit County westbound I-80. It's after Wanship, but before Tollgate Canyon Road. So far, it doesn't seem to be causing any kind of delay in the area. Also, a crash called out. Salt Lake City PD working on this one. Redwood Road at 10th North. I think they've been able to get that moved out of traffic as well. Don't miss the Rocky Mountain Gun Show at Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy, August 9th and 10th. Get 500 rounds of 9mm ammo for just $85. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Right now, it's 96 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
3 days only. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Save thousands on hot tubs and swim spas. 2 area locations. Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent. And St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Major manufacturers liquidation of new 2025 spas. Discounted up to 40 to 80%. We have spas to fit any backyard or budget. Free professional delivery. Instant on-site financing. 2 area locations. Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent. And St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Transform your backyard with a swim spa for the fraction of the price of a pool. The easiest way to exercise or relax in your backyard. Just fill and chill. Shockingly low monthly payments. Don't miss this opportunity to build the backyard of your dreams. See the latest models in person. 3 days only. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2 area locations. Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent. And St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Learn more online at hottubandswimspasale.com. hottubandswimspasale.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. School is almost back in session, making it the perfect time to start reiterating safety practices with your kiddos. And maybe it's not just the kids that need reminding. I spoke with the executive director of the American Red Cross Greater Salt Lake chapter, Jeremiah LaFranca, and he says everybody needs to be safety aware around the schools.
You know, one of the biggest challenges that we see is just the increase in pedestrian-related fatalities for children under the age of 19. So essentially, we've seen pedestrian fatalities go down over the past 30 years, but there's been an 11% increase in fatalities of children. So just people not paying attention to kids when they're on the road, drivers not being aware of their surroundings, things of that nature. And that's one of our primary concerns. We just want people to be safe, especially school gets back in session.
And you said under the age of 19. Is there an even more specific age group that you tend to see more issues with?
Yeah, it's usually between 10 to 14. And then also 15 to 19 is another kind of target group. But again, that younger age, just, when you have kids getting off the bus, they walk between cars, maybe there's a driver that doesn't see them. They might not be paying attention when they're walking, along the side of the street. So, under the age of 14, they might try to walk on the side of the street versus on the sidewalk. So just making sure that kids are aware of the proper safety precautions to make sure that everybody's, again, staying safe.
And that's interesting because I think sometimes, at least personally, I might think, oh, it's the little kids, the kindergartners, the first graders who just may not be aware. But that actually sounds like it's more of the tween teenagers. Are they just distracted? I mean, what are you noticing?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is cell phones, right? So, when you have kids that are on their bikes or walking along, they have their cell phones. That's something that maybe, I didn't grow up with when I was a kid. So it's just something that takes kind of their focus and attention off of their surroundings. So when you have a kid that's sitting there walking with their phone, they don't pay attention to where they're going, what's going on, that's when the accident can occur. And so I think that's primarily what we see is just that distraction from their surroundings and not being aware of what's going on.
And then on the other hand, I'm sure that you're noticing drivers being distracted in the same way, I would assume.
We do. So, just like the basic checklist, when you're driving through school zones or you're near schools or buses, just make sure that you're slowing down. Pay attention to the speeding or the speed limits in those areas. Speeding fines are always doubled in school zones. Yellow flashing lights on a bus, make sure you're slowing down, that you're preparing to stop because that's what the bus is going to be doing. Staying alert for children walking or biking between buses or at bus stops. They might be coming in between cars. So you just want to be aware of the surroundings. But that, again, comes back to distracted driving, right? People on their cell phones, maybe responding to a text, taking a phone call, not paying attention to what's going on. And then, unfortunately, that's what results in a lot of these accidents.
And I remember when I was an elementary school student, the stop, look, and listen concept, that was big. Do you feel like a lot of that education is still happening, or do we as parents need to make sure that we are really teaching those concepts in our homes?
Definitely think we need to take those steps, right? So when a child is getting ready to cross the street, teaching that basic concept of look left, look right, look left again, and then cross the street, cross at the crosswalks. A lot of these kids just may not have the basic understanding of that, and unfortunately, I don't know if life has gotten busier for everyone, I think, with a lot of families that have two working parents and whatnot. So we just want to make sure that that education is getting out there and reminding your kids to stay safe. That accidents can happen at any time.
And when we're talking about time, I know that when I've taken my kids to school, kind of during that 8 o'clock hour, that's right when that sunshine is like coming up over and kind of blinds you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right, yeah.
And so do you notice issues with visibility with drop-off for school?
I think, yeah, absolutely. When you have that, as you mentioned, with the sunlight's coming up and you're not paying attention, all of a sudden you look up, it's kind of blinding. You have kids walking all over the place. I think that creates some of those issues for sure. Again, it's just being aware of your surroundings. If you've got that, that sunlight's going to be hitting you out, make sure you have your sunglasses on, making sure that you're slowing down when you're around the schools, making sure that you have your phone away. Because again, we don't want an accident to happen. Nobody wants that to happen to any kids or to have families go through that.
And so what are some tips and practices that families could just start emphasizing as we head into the season?
So for your teenagers that drive, make sure that they're not eating or drinking when they drive. Make sure that they are wearing their seatbelt, that they know not to use their phone or text or call while they're driving. I think it's a big one, right? You can set up features to make sure that any kind of text or calls that come in when you're driving, you can send those directly to just kind of an automatic response that you can't take that call or text right now. Be patient with other drivers and pedestrians, stay calm in those situations. I think a lot of teenagers get a little bit nervous when they're driving around and there's a lot of people that are nearby. Having that stress can lead to poor decisions. For younger kids, make sure your kids that are taking the bus, that they're staying away from the curbs, that they're waiting for the bus to completely stop before they start to get on. I think that's one of the issues that's been seen is that they get all excited and they try to get on the bus before it's completely ready to take kids on. Make sure that kids, especially younger, when they're getting on the buses, that they're not going around the back, that they're going around the front when it stops, so that way the bus driver can see where they're at. Again, making sure that they're crossing at crosswalks, not between cars. Those are some basic things that'll help keep kids safe and just be aware of their surroundings there.
And we've covered several stories both on KSL TV and KSL News Radio about crosswalks and how school crossing guards are really struggling lately, just with people obeying the rules, following the crossing guards, things like that. Is that something you're noticing?
That is. That's definitely an issue. You have the crossing guard that's going out there at the crosswalk. They have their stop sign out, and you have drivers that kind of think, okay, well, the kid's not on my side of the road, so I can go. That's not the case. I myself, I've seen, police pull someone over as soon as they try to do something like that, where they went because there wasn't any kid next to the crossing guard and the crossing guard's yelling at them. So I think, again, just being aware that that takes priority over you. There's no reason to hurry and cause an accident that you're gonna end up regretting. It's better to just be patient, just wait, follow those rules, follow the law, and keep everybody safe.
Okay, great. Well, Jeremiah, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today, and it's a great reminder for all the families, everybody on the roads, really, that are going to be near schools, just to be safe and be aware.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the time.
That was Jeremiah LaFranca, Executive Director of the American Red Cross Greater Salt Lake Chapter. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
It makes a huge difference when you have a problem with something like your air conditioning and you can call someone that you trust and you know that they're going to tell you exactly what's wrong, and they're not going to upsell you. They're going to tell you what's wrong. They're going to give you an estimate of how to fix it. If they think it needs to be replaced, they're going to explain to you why that is. And that is exactly what I have found with At Your Service Pros. At Your Service Pros is so committed to giving you good information that they have started a YouTube channel. And right now, you have a chance to win an air conditioner, a free air conditioner. All you need to do is go to their YouTube channel. It is called Healthy Water and Air. Watch the AC giveaway video, subscribe and comment, or you can just say hi to double your chances of winning. And then when you need someone that you can trust for all of your heating, air, plumbing, and electrical needs, remember the name, At Your Service Pros. Learn more at atyourservicepros.us, or you can give them a call at Your Service Pros at 801-YOUR-PRO.
Economic uncertainty could be driving many consumer decisions in the second half of 2025, including the infamous back-to-school shopping. Here's ABC's Sherry Preston with more.
According to a new survey from U.S. News and World Report, 85% of Americans are concerned about higher prices on back-to-school items. Consumers are worried about higher costs, caused in part by the Trump administration's recent tariffs. The Wall Street Journal reporting it's leading people to buy in bulk, clip coupons, and seek out generic items.
On Inside Sources this morning, hosts Holly Richardson and Greg Skordas dug into the effect of the tariffs, or even just the worries of tariffs. And it's having effects on people who are back to school shopping and even just trying to get classroom supplies.
So we're looking at some of the changes people are using or taking into account this year as they go back to school. They're looking to purchase things on prepaid gift cards, sort of buy now, pay later, switching up where they shop and how they shop, they're focused on sales more than they have before. Households with less than $50,000 a year are having to cut back more significantly than others, obviously, which is unfair because they're the ones that can least afford to cut back. But there's some, whether right or wrong, I think a lot of this is a concern about the economy in the future.
Right.
And people going, well, wait a minute, I don't know that I can spend this money because I don't know where I'm going to be a month or two from now.
Yeah. Look, expenses, like even talking about shoes, right? So during the summer, I had one year, one of my teenage boys changed shoe sizes 3 times between the end of one school year and the beginning of the other school year. That's a lot of shoes. And when he came to me the 3rd time and said, Mom, my shoes are too small, I'm like, that can't be true because I just bought you new shoes a month ago. But in fact, his feet had grown. He was hitting that teenage growth spurt, and that really, it really starts adding up for a family, right? When you have to keep going out and getting new shoes. And you can only do so many hand-me-downs, right, before they're just not wearable anymore.
And parents can expect to pay an additional 18.7% on items like computers and electronics than they had in the past. Like you said, shoes, 39% increase on leather costs. Yeah. 39%. I mean, if you're buying 3 pairs of shoes in a year, that can add up. Clothing costs in the short term, 37% increase because we import so much of it from China, which is facing all by itself a 30% increase.
And throughout this week on the 10 o'clock hour each morning, Inside Sources will be digging into different topics associated with the back-to-school season. They hope to get you and your kids prepared for school, whether the new year begins next week or in the next couple of weeks. And those conversations will be at about 10 o'clock each morning this week on Inside Sources. Coming up, fallout continues today after President Trump removed the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics over poor job numbers. We'll dig into that with ABC News after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's MyStyle checking accounts. Ricky?
Emergency crews are responding to a new accident in West Jordan's southbound Mountain View corridor near Old Bingham Highway. I've seen them drive by. They are trying to get the vehicles involved in the crash moved out of the way. So far, no lanes blocked and no delays. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Behind the curtain of Utah and Washington politics.
It seems like the federal government is now saying to the states, you have much more control of your destiny.
And expanded Inside Sources.
And so our legislature is trying to figure out what their boundaries are.
Even like FEMA, right?
Yes.
Wildfire disasters.
The all-new Inside Sources.
If we have to pay for it all of ourselves, can we afford that as a state?
Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson, now on 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. For years now, I've been telling you about Connecticut soft water systems that use 2/3 less salt than the others. But I've never told you exactly how they do that. Well, there are several ways, so consider this as part one in a series. Most of the softeners out there use a finicky, hard-to-adjust computer to guesstimate when to cycle, and it errs on the side of cycling too often, which means it'll burn through way too much salt way too soon. Connecticut is different. It has an all-mechanical system that measures the water precisely. No computer, no guesstimating, so it cycles only when needed. The result? Connecticut delivers perfectly soft water 24/7 using minimal salt. So why not save your lower back from carrying the 3 bags of salt when all you need is 1? Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake. Call them now, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com and tell them Doug sent you.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
You've lived with the pain long enough. The missed meals, covered smiles, the moments you've avoided because of your teeth. If you're living with missing or broken teeth or struggling with dentures, take your life back. Stubbs Dental Implant Center has helped thousands reclaim their health, confidence, and joy with permanent dental implants. What do Stubbs Dental patients say?
I'm no longer in pain, and I can finally be myself again after getting dental implants. I just wish I would have gone to Stubbs Dental sooner.
I was at a denture for 10 years before I got dental implants. My life has completely changed thanks to Stubbs Dental.
You know, I hated looking at myself in the mirror. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been life-changing.
As a 3-time Best of State winner with over 2,500 5-star Google reviews, Stubbs Dental doesn't just fix teeth, they change lives. Visit StubbsDental.com today to reserve your free consultation. A $350 value, completely free. StubbsDental.com.
We're following breaking news here on Midday. I'm Britt Johnson. Democratic lawmakers in Texas have prevented their state's House of Representatives from moving forward with redrawn congressional maps. For now, at least. Those plans would give Republicans a better chance at keeping the U.S. House following the 2026 midterms. After dozens of Democrats left the state, the Republican-dominated House was unable to establish the quorum of lawmakers required to do business. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has made threats about removing some members of the opposition from their seats. President Trump now seeking to put his own person in as head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It comes after he fired previous Commissioner Eric McIntyre, claiming her most recent jobs numbers were rigged. Critics of this decision say Trump has yet to show any evidence of the numbers being manipulated. ABC's Selena Wang describes the fallout of this firing with the Start Here podcast host, Brad Milkey.
You might remember Friday morning, we were talking with the economist, Heather Long, about the economy. And I was asking her, if big tariffs have been so destructive to this country, why does our economy look so resilient right now? And she tells me, well, A, you're not going to see all these costs go up all at once. It's a gradual thing. And B, she says, we are actually seeing concerning data when it comes to employment right now. Well, on Friday morning, the monthly jobs numbers came out from the federal government, and sure enough, they were even worse than a lot of people were expecting.
We got more bad news. The jobs numbers from May and June got a big revision, showing 258,000 fewer jobs than previously reported.
In recent years, we had been accustomed to the economy adding, say, 100,000 new jobs a month, maybe 200,000, or if it's a great month, 300,000 or 400,000. Well, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said that last month, 73,000 jobs were added to the economy. Not great, and that wasn't all. The BLS also revised down previous month's estimates, saying that actually, back in May and June, we added less than 20,000 jobs each of those months.
Now, this was late news, but it made a big impact. The stock market took a big dip, and economists are saying this is an indicator that there could be underlying problems, and maybe we should be concerned.
Well, by the end of the day, the person that ran the Bureau of Labor Statistics had been fired, and that appeared to be the decision of President Donald Trump himself. Let's start the day with ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang. Selena, Erica McIntyre is this government bureaucrat's name. Why was she fired?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is a government bureaucrat, typically a name that Americans don't know, but now we've been hearing her name in the news for days. So what happened was that this new jobs report came out. It was disappointing. It was far weaker than expected. The president was furious about that data, which shows signs that the economy is weakening. Then he claimed without evidence that the data was, quote, rigged to make him look bad. And he also claimed that the numbers were wrong before the election and were more favorable to Kamala Harris.
She came out with these beautiful numbers trying to get somebody else elected. Then right after the election, I think on the 15th, November 15th, she had an $800,000 or $900,000 massive reduction. Said she made a mistake.
Now, to be clear, McIntyre, again, a government official, confirmed by the Senate in an overwhelming bipartisan vote. And she was fired as the head of the Bureau shortly after that news jobs report came out.
ABC's Selena Wang spoke to William Beach, who is the former commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and he was appointed by President Trump in his first term. Beach says it's impossible that McIntyre manipulated the data.
The commissioner does not even see the numbers for the employment report, for the CPI, for all the reports that come out until the numbers are completely done and they're loaded and ready to be distributed.
He says they don't have control over that.
Then the commissioner is briefed Wednesday afternoon prior to the Friday release, and that's the first time the commissioner sees those numbers.
And that what President Trump is doing is shooting the messenger.
Well, and like you said, Selena, the BLS does not sound like the most glamorous job in the world, but this sent shockwaves around the economic world. Why is this such a big deal compared to some of the other firings we've seen?
Yeah, so the BLS plays a vital role in the U.S. economy because it provides the critical data, not just around jobs, but also around inflation, other key metrics that underpins the decisions that policymakers, investors, and businesses make.
Mm-hmm.
And in speaking to experts, they're concerned that by doing this, the president could be trying to manipulate the numbers to make him look good, or he nominates a replacement who is unqualified for that position. So really, though, the BLS produces information that moves markets. It changes people's opinions about the economy. This is actually exactly what the former commissioner told me. He said decisions by bankers in Dusseldorf or New York, or a shoe salesman or a farmer in the U.S., they're going to be less informed if those numbers aren't accurate, or if people lose, faith in the integrity of those numbers.
And Brad Milkey agrees. He also wonders if this may not bode well for overall trust in the government.
Even if President Trump picked a new person who's still giving out crystal clean data, can you even trust the right numbers anymore? Can you trust anything knowing that if they are bad numbers, that President Trump is willing to fire the person that put them out there into the world? Because then that starts to bring up questions about all these government agencies that put out numbers that the world relies on. I'm thinking about the CDC, the FDA, the Census Bureau. We've created an entire apparatus around trusting the American government's data when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, so there's so many questions about this. And I spoke to one economist from Texas A&M. He called this, quote, straight out of an authoritarian playbook. He pointed to countries like Argentina, Russia, and China. He said you can't trust numbers coming out of those countries because authoritarian regimes manipulate their numbers to look good. Now, he's not saying that we're at that point yet, but this is certainly a concern of people's.
Right. And economists have been saying all weekend, revising numbers upwards or downwards, not unusual at all. In fact, it's critical to the work that BLS had been doing. All right. Selena Wang, thanks for breaking it down.
Thanks, Brad.
Dr. Michael Kofod, assistant professor of economics at the University of Tennessee, spoke to Inside Sources this morning about this decision and how we got here.
But again, when we talk about firing the BLS director simply because we don't like those numbers, now it starts to inject this uncertainty that we've normally never had before. Countries that have done this in the past have usually caused themselves more economic harm than it was worth. For example, Greece, during the Euro crisis of the 2010s, fired their director because they didn't like the inflation numbers that were coming out of Greece. And so what we're worried then about is there going to be a structural break where now all of a sudden the data is not as good as we once thought it would be.
Whoever the president nominates to be the new commissioner would need to be confirmed by the Senate, and we expect to hear who the nominee is sometime this week. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we're watching this hour: a red flag warning today, continuing our long trend of hot, dry, and windy conditions. How's that affecting the air quality? And vaccination exemptions on the rise for Utah's newest students, kindergartners. And KSL traffic. Ricky?
We do have some slowing on southbound I-15 through the road work. So if you're traveling between Kaysville and Farmington, expect some delay. Britt?
Thanks, Ricky. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. But first, we have the latest national stories from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Texas House lawmakers tried to reconvene today as Republicans try to vote on a redrawn congressional map. But state Democrats have fled the state, protesting what they call gerrymandering that would give the GOP 5 new seats ahead of midterms.
But more than 50 Texas House Democrats are in Chicago, not Austin.
We're not here to play political games.
State Representative Gene Wu of Houston.
We're here to demand an end to this corrupt process.
President Trump has said he wants to see 5 more Republicans in Congress. GOP state lawmakers here have drawn a new map that virtually guarantees it. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Republicans voted to issue warrants for state Democrats to return, but won't have jurisdiction in other states. Israel's prime minister claiming Hamas does not seem committed to reaching a Gaza ceasefire deal and says he'll convene his cabinet to draw up plans on a military solution to defeat Hamas and release the remaining hostages. On Wall Street, stocks closing up today. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story: data from the CDC shows Utah is now second only to Idaho in vaccine exemptions for kindergartners in the country. Now, this comes as kids get ready to head back to school.
Infections starting within a school that has a very high exemption rate could be disastrous.
Rich Lakin is the immunization director for the Utah Department of Health and Human Services. He tells me not all areas of the state have high vaccine exemption rates, but he says if the ones that do see a measles outbreak,
then the responsibility of public health is to protect those kids that cannot be vaccinated and those kids that have exemptions. And so those kids will have to be excluded from school for a certain time period.
Lakin says some of the most common reasons they're getting from people who request vaccine exemptions are that they feel like vaccines are unsafe, specific diseases don't exist anymore, or that they don't want to run the risk of getting a vaccine versus the risk of catching something. Lakin is urging any parents on the fence about vaccinating their kids to do so, saying vaccines pose minimal risk compared to what they protect against. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Southern Utah is dealing with an increase in cases of pertussis. That's more commonly known as whooping cough. David Heaton with the Southwest Utah Public Health Department says they've seen an unusual rise in cases this year, with 30 reported between Washington and Iron counties.
Seems like a common cold at first, but then develops into this coughing fit that people have, and then they have this whooping sound as they try to suck in air after the coughing fit.
Heaton says they're urging people to get vaccinated against the disease, especially as kids start to head back to school. Other local stories KSL is following. Utah Highway Patrol troopers stopped a driver they say was going nearly double the speed limit on I-15 this weekend. Arresting documents say the driver passed a trooper going 136 miles an hour in a 70-mile zone around 2:30 Sunday morning. Police say he was driving an Audi S6 with no license plate. They arrested that driver. Residents who live in Emigration Canyon should expect delays up to 30 minutes as crews begin a paving project. It's scheduled for the next 2 weeks. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
The construction is scheduled from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily through August 15th. A press release from the Greater Salt Lake Municipal Services District states one lane will be closed during paving and access to residential driveways will be restricted while the asphalt cures. Visitors are highly discouraged from driving through the canyon during the paving project.
Emigration Canyon is also closed to all bicyclists until August 15th. Good to know, because last time I was in Emigration Canyon, I saw more bicyclists than I think I've ever seen. All right, your money at this moment. Taking a look at how the markets ended up here. The Dow up 585 points. S&P gaining 91 points. The NASDAQ is up 403 points. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style Checking. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a small accident in Utah County, southbound I-15 approaching 4th South Springville. It is out of traffic on the left shoulder. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Right now, it's partly cloudy with some light breezes and already 97 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you need new windows and you live in Utah, there's only one choice. There are other window companies, but they're more expensive and their windows aren't made in Utah for Utah's ever-changing climate. Advanced Window Products has been building state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. And since they're the factory, they cut out the middleman and you save 30, even 40% on new windows. Plus, right now as they book for fall, Advanced Windows will give you $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. They build the windows, install the windows, and guarantee them for life. And since they're right here in Utah, if you have a problem years from now, just call them. They'll come over. Advanced Windows offers 0% financing, buy now, pay later. They're affordable. Get your new windows and get the energy savings before we get to winter. $2,500 off. Call them, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. A new wildfire is affecting the popular Tibble Fork Reservoir in Utah County. If you were hoping to head up there to hike or spend some time on the water before summer ends, you might be a little out of luck. The Mill Canyon fire sparked over the weekend. It's still small, but the remote and rugged nature of the area has some fire officials worried. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is at the mouth of American Fork Canyon.
While on last check it wasn't big compared to others we've reported on, crews are treating it seriously because of where it's burning, deep in the timber just east of Tibble Fork Reservoir.
Shortly after the fire was spotted, campers had to evacuate early in the morning with only a few minutes' notice. KSL TV's Alex Cabrera was one of them.
Started hearing this buzzing sound, some sirens, and I just thought it was another camper just, waking up too early, making too much noise. But then you heard over the air horn, over the siren, a police officer saying, "Everybody, you need to evacuate. There's a wildfire. You need to go right now." So you just throw everything you can into your car and you get out of there.
And Alex tells Utah's Morning News that he couldn't see any flames from his location, but there was a lot of smoke and a lot of firefighters gathering at the reservoir parking lot. In the last hour of Midday, I spoke to Sergeant Ray Ormond with the Utah County Sheriff's Office to find out what was going on in the area today.
Today was a fire up in that area. It was decided by the Forest Service to close that intersection off just to limit. The roads are narrow up there, and fire apparatuses that we've had on site with some of our brush trucks are larger, and so it just made it easier to be able to get those vehicles into the area, to be able to assist with hand crews hiking up in to fight the fire. And then our deputies also assisted with the evacuations of the Granite Flat Campground, Tibble Fork, Silver Lake area, just to help clear out those people so that the fire department would have the ability to get in there and quickly work on the fire.
Now, we've heard that that area isn't easily accessible for fire trucks. Can you kind of describe what the area is like while you're trying to fight this fire?
You bet. So having hiked in that area before, it is kind of a single-track trail. There's a parking area that you can park on the other side of the river, and you have to access that area via a bridge. And it is thick. It's thick timber. There's a lot of undergrowth underneath the timber in that area that does make just hiking through that area a little bit challenging if you get off trail. So definitely going up in there to fight that by hand. They're going to have to carry everything that they need in there with them, whether it be chainsaws, fuel for the chainsaws, and other hand tools to be able to limit and mitigate the fire from spreading.
And tell me a little bit about the size of the fire and if there are areas that are under evacuation.
So last time I had heard, the fire was estimated in the size of being a quarter acre. They've been able to contain it and mitigate it really from spreading using air assets. That was really a key tool to be able to have that helicopter in the area to be able to put water on it fast and quickly. The evacuations that are affecting that area are still going to be up in the Silver Lake homes area and those cabins that are up by the Silver Lake Flat, and anywhere really in the Tibble Fork side of American Fork Canyon. And talking with the Forest Service, they plan on having that closed probably all of today.
And this is a pretty popular area for summer recreating, as far as I understand. And so if people were hoping to get up there at some point in the near future, what should they know?
Yeah, it is. It's an extremely popular area to go up and recreate. Like I stated, it's going to be closed to today. I don't see there being a long-term impact in the area. So, if people want to go up there tomorrow or the next day, they should just check with the Forest Service to make sure that it's open. When I was up in that area at the Tibble Fork parking lot, there wasn't anything that had been damaged or otherwise altered by the fire down in that area. So people should still be able to go up there and recreate within the next day or two.
That's Sergeant Ray Ormond with the Utah County Sheriff's Office. Another fire burning in the state is the Monroe Canyon fire. This is in Sevier and Paiute counties. Today, it's now 13% contained, but it's burned over 62,000 acres, and the weather conditions remain a big concern for firefighters. Humidity in the area near Fish Lake is only around 5% today, and wind speeds are picking up, so a red flag warning is in place. And then there's hazy skies in Utah, and the Utah air quality is taking a hit due to all this wildfire smoke. Meteorologist Sam Weber from the National Weather Service joined me earlier to give the latest updates. If you're one of those with a sensitive nose, you might want to skip the outside activities today.
Yeah, air quality around Utah really is looking quite all right. We're seeing moderate air quality, which is kind of that first level of deteriorating air quality. So obviously not green, but also not terrible. Most of the smoke that we're seeing right now is fairly elevated, except for kind of near point sources like the Monroe Canyon fire.
And do you anticipate it being similar for the next couple of days, or worse, or better?
Yeah, I would anticipate, at least for the next several days, for things to remain fairly similar. I think a lot of what we're going to see over the next couple of days is just elevated smoke. There's a new emerging fire in Southern California that we think we're seeing a lot of that smoke right now is what it's being sourced from. So we're not really smelling it, but you can definitely see it, and that kind of elevated smoke is probably what we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of days.
And we've had some pretty windy conditions. How could that affect our air quality?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as windy conditions kind of come into place, we're overturning more of the atmosphere, and we could start mixing some of that wind, smoke down as we kind of get these windy conditions in place. But for now, the Utah Department of Environmental Air Quality is forecasting moderate air quality through at least Wednesday across the state of Utah. So for now, we expect things to stay pretty similar to how they are.
Okay. Are there any other concerns on your radar as far as the wind or air quality go?
No, I think winds are going to be remaining out of the southwest for several days. We have red flag warnings in place, so bear that in mind. But as far as air quality goes, again, so long as these fires to our southwest are continuing to crank out smoke, I think we're going to continue to see some smoke in the air here locally in Utah.
That was National Weather Service meteorologist Sam Weber. Stick with KSL for the latest updates on the fires around the state and the air quality, too. Just go to kslnewsradio.com and click on Utah Fire Watch at the top of the homepage. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lowe's knows when you're looking for reliability, the right brand makes all the difference. And now, Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retailer for the Whirlpool water treatment line, including their Wi-Fi softener, under-sink filtration system, and more. With Whirlpool's proven performance and our everyday low prices, better tasting, better quality water is within reach. Shop pro-trusted brands like Whirlpool and more, in-store or online. Lowe's, we help, you save.
We've got an update to a story we first told you last week. Utah ranks among the top states with vaccination exemptions for kindergartners. That's according to new data from the CDC, which says that just over 10% of kindergartners in Utah have an exemption for one or more required vaccines. Only Idaho has more exemptions at roughly 15%. Rich Lakin, immunization director for the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, tells KSL News Radio's Adam Small that when requesting a vaccine exemption, many parents list one of three top reasons.
They feel like vaccines are unsafe. They feel that the diseases don't exist anymore, and so they don't get vaccinated. They don't want to run the risk of a vaccine as compared to the disease.
And with school starting this month, Lakin says measles cases could rise dramatically in areas of the state where there are higher numbers of vaccine exemptions. He's encouraging parents who are on the fence about vaccinating their kids to do so, saying their effects are minimal compared to getting measles or whatever they're protecting against. If you've driven through Lehigh during rush hour, especially east or west, you know traffic is getting worse and worse. But the city is one step closer to solving their traffic issues. They've received $2.5 million in federal funding to move forward with studies that'll help them determine what will alleviate these problems. Lehigh City Mayor Mark Johnson says this is a really big win because the roads have gotten so bogged down.
Pretty much every day, every work day, we have level of service failures on our three routes that are south end of town, or serve the south end of town. Main Street, as an example, Main Street is carrying about 24,000 trips a day, and I think it's designed for about 13 to 14,000 trips a day. Pioneer Crossing, it goes into a level of service failure every morning and every evening due to transportation. And then we have another corridor south of there. It's 1900 South, which connects to Pony Express going west. That's a very small two-lane road, at least the portion that goes through Lehigh. It actually terminates, and you have to turn, and it ties into Pioneer Crossing. So we know we need some additional transportation corridors on our south end of town, and that is what this funding is targeting.
And the high traffic in this area isn't necessarily a new problem. While the population has boomed around Lehigh in recent years, the problems began even before then.
A decade ago, we probably started to see some congestion. Pioneer Crossing was built then, 2100 North, at least the frontage roads were built. Those roads were both built around 2011, I believe, 2011, 12. Both of those corridors started to fail within 2 years after construction. Already seeing in what we call the AM and PM peak hours, we increased the speeds on one of those, Pioneer Crossing, to help the throughput. We've done a number of things in Lehigh where I've signed the paperwork to increase the throughput of those citizens coming west. But there's only so much we can do without building new roads.
And the city's already been doing studies to address the problem, but this federal funding will allow them to go even more in depth. And the hope is to be able to eventually build a new freeway as long as it shows that it's feasible.
We have done a number of traffic studies. We have been studying the traffic that's coming through Lehigh and our Lehigh roads since, well, it's been a little over 7 years now. We engaged a traffic engineering firm. They've collaborated with many other traffic engineering firms and UDOT and MAG to make sure that the numbers they are using is accurate. And we believe that those numbers are. We also look at build out of not only our city, we look at what the build out populations are going to be in Saratoga and Eagle Mountain, because we have to consider that what's going to happen when those cities get full, and whether or not we have appropriate corridors. So that's what we're doing now. We're looking at, okay, what potential corridors do we have to build a new road, and what is feasible in regards to the environment and the existing conditions.
Once the study gives them the green light with its findings, Johnson says they already have a good idea of where they want to put the new roads and what exactly needs to be done. Coming up, if you like cat videos, this next story is going to be perfect for you. I tried to make it say purr, but I couldn't make it sound like a cat purring. Either way, there is a new film festival devoted to cat videos, so stick around for that story. But first, KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Ricky?
You keep at it, Britt. You'll get there. We still have the cleanup of this accident in Utah County. It's southbound I-15 in Springville near 4th South. It's out of traffic on the left, but we're still waiting for emergency crews to arrive. So far, not affecting your drive. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile.
With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Whether you're building your $1 million dream home, giving your current home a facelift, or just trying to get it out of the minor leagues, Peach Windows and Doors brings the big league look.
Modern style, energy efficiency, clean lines, tough builds, and curb appeal that hits like a home run. Not sure what you need? No sweat. Peach has the coaching staff to get your home in the game. No pressure, no gimmicks, just solid game plans and pro-level results to help you knock it out of the park.
Come see for yourself big, beautiful windows that bring the outside in. Visit Peach Windows and Doors showroom, big enough to spark ideas, small enough to feel right at home. It's time to step up your game and make your house the MVP of the neighborhood. Why live in the minor leagues when you can swing like $1 million? Peach Windows and Doors, because real homes play like champions. Visit peachdoorsandwindows.com or call 801-566-1255 for your free consultation.
That's Peach Windows and Doors. Give them a call, 801-566-1255.
Why settle for a basic night out when all tickets for Utah Symphony and Utah Opera performances are now on sale? And for a very limited time, premium main floor seats to most performances are $35 or less. Enjoy splurge-worthy nights without the splurge with events like the music of Phil Collins and Genesis, Utah Opera's The Shining, and Carmina Burana. Don't wait. Prices go up after August 15th. More at usuo.org/August. Subject to availability and restrictions.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
This is Midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. We're streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. Smart sunglasses are growing in popularity. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, is launching a new pair. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more in today's tech trends.
From ABC News Tech Trends, Meta has been selling Ray-Ban smart glasses for a couple years, and now they're adding Oakley's shades to the lineup.
They're calling these kind of like performance glasses, and I think, some of that might have to do with sort of the association that like Oakley has as a brand as kind of being like, something for, more serious athletes and stuff like that.
Engadget's Chris Abell got a chance to try them.
They're a little bit thick. Some of that could be because they do have that bigger battery life.
That bigger battery isn't the only change the Oakleys add over the Ray-Bans.
Camera can record video at 3K resolution. The Ray-Ban frames only ever did HD, like 1080p.
Meta's Reality Labs, which oversees the smart glasses part of the business, posted a $4.5 billion loss in the second quarter, but CEO Mark Zuckerberg says he's still committed to the concept.
They sort of would love to have, the next platform be something that they can control, something with their hardware.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
All right, cat videos. Love them or hate them, but they're some of the most popular videos on the internet. I've never really understood why. They're definitely cute, but why are they so popular? All right, either way, that interest in those cute, purry things is carrying over into movies. Start Here podcast host Brad Milkey has more on the premiere of Cat Video Fest.
Was this the movie of the summer? It's plausible. This weekend, hundreds of independent movie theaters around the country screened a film that sounds like something out of my YouTube viewing history. It's 73 straight minutes of cat videos.
I watch between like 12 and 13,000 cat videos every year.
This is Will Braden, the director and producer of Cat Video Fest. For the last several years, he's been making G-rated compilations of cats being, well, everything cats are. Cuddly, cunning, and at times, clueless. My personal favorite from Will's trailer this year is a trio of kittens playing on a DJ turntable and making music that's catastrophic. Will runs this